This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Yeah, baby! Welcome aboard. It's a Tuesday to the program. Thank you all for joining us. As always, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, is, of course, leading the way always, every day here on the show. Thanks to all already on the YouTube channel. Checking it out. Appreciate it. Don't forget to smash that like button, whether you're listening to the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube. It is incredibly important to smash the hell out of that like button. That will get that algorithm going. So we got, man, some stuff happened yesterday, huh? We got stuff that I'm actually doing this segment with Dougley, which should be, I think it drops now any moment, and the Blake James stuff breaks, and I'm like, whoa, wow. I don't know if he edited it out of the show or whatever, but I was like, I mentioned that show. Wow, man, the Canes just released, they fired Blake James or parted ways, however you want to look at it. They fired his ass, whatever. It is what it is. They looked at Blake James and said, hey, listen, you made us trade $4 million for the guy that we've got on the field right now that looks like he's absolutely lost and he couldn't find his butthole with a funnel. We're not going to use you to hire the next head coach. So, Blake, thanks, but no thanks. The athletic program is going to crap under your watch. Now, okay, that's the version, that's the PG version that you want to put out there for, the family to absorb and all that good stuff. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, okay, let's pump the brakes on everything going on with the University of Miami. Okay? This move actually means nothing whatsoever. Let me go towards the Marlins for a second to kind of use an analogy in a way. And when you talk about the Marlins, I've had the people like, all right, I want to see what Kim Eng does. And then I always come back to them and I say, hey, man, have they given Kim Eng a checkbook yet? And then I never get any answer back. Crickets. Because you got to be an idiot or biased because a woman is in charge that you're already picking on Kim Eng when she has no checkbook. So until I see Jeter and Sherman give her a checkbook, I can't imagine the woman's going to make much of a difference. It's not her fault. It's just that you've got to spend in baseball. If you don't spend in baseball, you're not going to get it done. You have to spend in baseball. Once in a blue moon, you'll catch lightning in a bottle like the 03 Marlins, like the Royals of, what was it when they won it? Was it like 2015 or something? I forgot what year it was exactly. But when the Royals won it a few years back, and, they caught lightning in a bottle. A bunch of young guys had career years, and they didn't really need a lot of veterans. And normally that's just not the way it is in baseball. Normally you're going to need veterans. You're going to have to spend money. This is why the Oakland A's and the Tampa Rays, who do an excellent job of finding talent, but because their cheap asses don't spend, they never win a title. They threaten you. They win enough games, They get into the playoffs. Hell, sometimes they can even get pretty far and get to the World Series. But in the end, you got to spend some money, dude, because more often, if you keep praying to be the '03 Marlins or the Royals, man, that stuff doesn't happen much. So you're praying for miracles of God. Overall in baseball, you got to spend. Well, who are you going to hire for AD? Does it really matter? Like I heard, one of the articles I read, Gino Torretta is one of the names being thrown around. And I know Gino, terrific dude. But if they don't give Gino a checkbook, why would Gino take that job? I know that's what Gino. See, Gino's a smart dude. He's an investment guy. You know what I mean? Like, Gino doesn't have one stupid hair in his body. This is a very intelligent dude. So anybody that loves the Canes like Gino does, before you take that job, you have to look at the administration and say, are you going to give me the money to go get a top-notch coach, top-notch offensive coordinator, and top-notch defensive coordinator? If you're not giving me the money to get those three, we're not doing anything right now. And I told you guys this for months now. It doesn't matter if you fire Manny if all you're going to do is hire another Manny, another Al Golden, another Randy Shannon. None of that matters. So all of this is all window dressing right now. It's putting lipstick on a pig until you show me that you want to make it actually look really good. Well, then maybe I'll believe you. You know what I'm saying? But until that point, firing Blake James is nothing, dude. It means jack. Hiring whatever AD you're going to hire doesn't mean anything either if you're not going to give them the money that they need in order to, one, blow out this staff, because you got to now you got to pay off this staff. So you've got 2 years to pay off with Manny and then all the other coaches. And then you've got to go buy a head coach, an offensive coordinator, and a defensive coordinator. And that's a lot of money. And you're going to have to guarantee that money for a long period of time. That's how you really compete in college football. That way you bring a great coaching staff. They have long-term contracts. You can now sell it to recruits and of course their parents and their guardians and whoever obviously are raising the kids and making the decisions. But you're going to need that. If you don't have that, ladies and gentlemen, all this crap that's going on means absolutely nothing. That's it. So I got to see. None of this gets me excited until I see the finished result. Not even hiring any AD gets me excited until I see the finished result. I want to see if they're going to spend. If you're going to go half-ass again and you're going to try to find the up-and-coming young coach and then he's got to fill his staff, and it's just going to be the same old, same old, same old. And that, is not going to get you anywhere for the University of Miami and a fan base that is used to being spoiled, even though really there's a generation now that doesn't really know what's being spoiled is like anymore. Actually, we're really getting to a point now where an entire generation only knows the Canes being sorry. That's the sad part. From when they won the championship till now, they've gone almost 20 years of being mediocre. Because obviously they were really good the year after the championship. And then things started to really fall apart after that, and they've never recovered. So there's young Canes fans that walk around that don't know anything about being really good. They don't remember it. When you're 5 or 7 years old in 2001, you don't really know or really enjoyed that championship. You know what I mean? And 20 years later, you're sitting there close to 30 years old, and the Canes have sucked pretty much the entire time. So are you going to ruin another generation of Canes fans? And by the way, in the process, lose the opportunity of building your fan base. Because remember, the Canes don't have the luxury that FIU has ruined, obviously, and FAU currently has. They have an incredible alumni base. Okay, my family. I've got two women that went to FIU. They didn't go to UM. They went to FIU. Although my daughter did a semester at UM because they gave her a scholarship for a medical program at UM, so she was able to go for a semester there. And so she did a semester, but mainly everything's FIU for her. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. They can build off of that alumni base. My UM cannot. UM's students, a ton of them come from other countries. And so and there are not a lot of kids locally that are going to UM because they can't afford it. So they're like a pro team. They have to gain their fan base from outside of their student body. They can't live off their student body / alumni. Lots of other schools can do that, but they can't. So in order for them to build a real fan base, they have to go out there and actually build a real team. And you've already been ruining that the last generation. And question is, what are you going to do now for the next generation? Are you going to create the memories that I had as a child into an adult? Because in 1983, man, I'm sitting there, I'm 17 years old, watching that game against Nebraska. And, it obviously, I mean, I was always a UM fan before that. And I would watch UM all the time and even go to go to the Orange Bowl for games. But I didn't go to that specific game. That game I watched on television, I remember, against Nebraska. But that's where it obviously, started. And then it continued. But then money took over. And Miami hasn't been able to catch up in the era of money. While they were in their tops, they didn't need the kind of money to compete. Nowadays, you need the money to compete. So that's the question. Firing Blake James is nice. It's a nice start. I have nothing against Blake James. He looks like a nice guy. But in the end, he wasn't getting it done. And the Manny move proved to be, even though a lot of us, including yours truly, wanted Manny, it was not a good move. So he ends up losing his job. And they can't trust him to find the next head coach. So now you got to get somebody else. And that's obviously the next person is not keeping Manny. They will fire Manny. The question is, what will be a really nice test of how cheap the University of Miami is, if they're going to stay cheap or they're actually going to start spending. When they hire the new AD, if he or she keeps Manny for a year, it's the same old University of Miami. That's, to me, will be the test. Now, if the new AD comes in and fires Manny and starts an aggressive coaching search for a big name, then all of a sudden now we know things have changed at the University of Miami. But folks, this is nice. It's a nice little start for UM, but it's not exactly what they need. Until I see that checkbook being whipped out, then I'll believe they want to challenge the Alabamas and the Ohio States and the Clemsons of the world for national titles. Then I believe they want to hang with Oklahoma. I'll believe they want to hang with LSU. I'll believe they want to hang with anybody in the SEC. Okay? But I got to see the checkbook. Got to see the checkbook. Nico, thank you, sir, for a little love on the super chat. Remember, you guys can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. And in Venmo, you can put, your question or comment or insult or whatever, and we'll read it the same way we do here on the super chat. Nico says, to think while UM was wasting time with Al Golden, Mario Cristobal, the best hire Miami could dream of, was now coaching FIU down the street. Yeah. Yeah, but they're also butthurt. You know, the whole thing about Mario leaving Miami to go to Alabama, and you could never, we've had this conversation before. I think you're a terrible person if you stand in the way of somebody trying to better themselves and you don't admit that they're bettering themselves. And by Mario Cristobal leaving the University of Miami and going to Alabama, he was bettering himself as a human being, as a professional. He was giving giving himself a better education on how he wanted to be as a coach. And he did the right thing. That's how he ended up in Oregon. He stays at Miami. He never ends up at Oregon. Okay? And please don't tell me, well, maybe he ends up coaching at the University of Miami. Yeah, right. Exactly, because they really support their coaches. Yeah, Mario would have everything. He'd have his offensive and defensive coordinators and everything else. Come on, man. Again, let's see. Daniel Grafton says, bought the dip, CKB, Bitcoin. Nice. Bitcoin, great dip. Take advantage of it. This is a nice, healthy correction here, because Bitcoin got down to 61,000. That's a great mark to get back into Bitcoin. Again, I've been telling all of you out there, Matic is a freaking steal right now. Now, the market is bouncing back already. It's bounced back strong, actually, from where it was a little bit ago. So now it's coming back strong. But Bitcoin is at 61,175. So, yeah, it's a good time to get in. Polygon for me right now, it's at $1.62, which is just an absolute steal. VeChain went down a little bit to 15.38, so it's just a little over 15 cents. Again, nice. A CKB, I saw got down to 2.5 cents. So if you got it on the dip of 2.5 cents or 2.6, I think you did a great job, Daniel, there for CKB. Ethereum is down also to 4,300. Remember, this thing was approaching $5,000. So I think it's a great move by anybody that, if you had never gotten, it was at 48.28. So, now it's at 4,300. So it's going to go back to 48. That's 500 more. And it's going to go over $5,000 in a short amount of time. So great move. Cardano's another one that's down under $2. It's at $1.95. I think that's a great buy right now. Polkadot has gone down some. And if you have crypto.com, you can also stake it for 12.5% also. Polkadot. There's a part of me, I don't have any Polkadot, but Polkadot is great. It's down 8.5%. It's down to $42. And Polkadot's going to take off now. And there's a part of me that wanted to take some of my my profits from SHIB and buy a bunch of Polkadot. But I held back because I'm gonna gamble with SHIB and give it a chance, because I think if it goes on Robinhood, it'll move a digit or two over, and then if you held on to SHIB, you're going to end up enjoying the fruits of having patience. You know what I'm saying? Nizzle, by the way, thank you, sir, for a little love on the super chat. He says, morning, who would be your guys to fix the Canes? Give me the AD and coach candidates on your radar. Have a good day, bro. Thanks for everything. I haven't even thought about it yet, man, to be honest with you. And I don't know right now who are the ADs that are available, or who's the guy you can steal from another school. Like, I'll give you an example. Okay, this is just me spitballing. Who's the AD at Central Florida? I would steal that guy. Somebody like that. Because that's a guy that's done a lot there at Central Florida. And if you're going to give him a checkbook, then maybe he can take it to the next level with the University of Miami. You know what I mean? Something like that. I would look for an AD that is dynamic, young, that is changing a program around already. I would do something like that. But again, remember, it all depends on the checkbook. And then coaching wise, Luke Fickell in Cincinnati. He built up Cincinnati. He's Cincinnati's pretty damn good, something like that. So you want to get somebody that is actually doing something, and you want to cripple another program and steal somebody from them. That's what you want to do. You don't want to you want to get somebody that's already proven that they know what they're doing and they're doing a good job with a good school, and then you want to take them over and bring them over to build up your program. That's what you want to do. Like what Texas A&M did to Florida State. They took Jimbo Fisher and they gave him that sick ass contract. But this is the only way you're going to win, by doing stuff like that. So it has to be something along those lines. This just happened now, Nizzle. So I haven't really thought about who the AD and who the coaches are, because they haven't even fired the coach yet. Like I told you, I got to wait to see for the AD to take over, and what's the AD going to do? Or did the AD and the administration say, hey, let's why don't you take over and have Manny for a year, and then decide what you want to do with Manny after, and then you can get your guy, because he's got 2 years left. We don't want to eat 2 years of salary, yada yada yada. See what I'm saying? So I got to see what they're going to do first. I want to see what the plan is. There's been talk, but I want to see the walk. That's the problem with all of this. So yeah, I want them to make the right changes, but I need to see the right steps first to make me feel like they're going to go in the right direction. Because once you tell me you're going to keep Manny around to assess it one more year, then I know you're not serious. Then I know you're not going to spend the money. You're going your cheap ways again. Why would you keep Manny? Why would you bring Manny back? You know what I'm saying? So that once you do that, then I know who you are. So let's get to that point first, and then by then names will come out. We'll find out about guys that or women that are in charge of certain athletic programs, and their contracts might be coming up, or they might be up and coming ones, or whatever, that kind of stuff. That's what I would do. Ken Sean says, great redistribution, a Big O. I told you yesterday, my Fibonacci said it would hit top 3 times, though. That's through 3 months. So on the Wyckoff, it is coming down to 24,000. Why look at why the dollar is strong? It has not gone down to 24,000. It's in the 60s still. And it's now going back up again, Ken Sean. So when it gets down to, like the 40s, and that maybe we can start talking about that, but you're getting way ahead of yourself. And the market's already bouncing back off the correction. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's already, everything's starting to go back up again after that correction. This is people taking profits, which I don't blame them. They may have gotten Bitcoin at 38, and we're talking about people that bought like $15 million of Bitcoin at 38. Or 28, I'm sorry. It got down to 28. So they're sitting there at 63, 64. They've doubled their money. And so if you spent 10 million on Bitcoin, now you got 20. So now you want to sell. So that makes a lot of sense. I get those people. We will all be in that spot too, except, of course, obviously, I'll be selling little things, little bits. So I'm just going to make a little money. But compared to these people, I'm nothing. You know what I mean? I'm a guppy. I'm a tadpole compared to these people. But what I'm saying is, eventually, everybody takes their profits. It depends on where you got in. You know what I'm saying? Now, those kind of people, they're super rich, and this is why they're super rich. I mean, if I had money, dude, I could flip a lot of money in crypto and make a lot of cash. But unfortunately, I don't. I'm a working stiff, so it is what it is. But it's just people, I think, right now taking profits, and so now they take their profits. It moves down, and now retail and more institutional money will take over because now there's a dip and they'll be able to get in a little cheaper. So it's not a big deal. This is part of the cycle. You have your volatility and your fluctuations that go on in crypto, but it's nothing like what you're talking about. That is a complete crash all the way down to whatever you said it was, 19 or 24 or whatever, 24. It's not even that. So, it's nice, but it's what is good, not so much for Bitcoin for me, but for others that haven't gotten into it, this is a nice entry point right now for anybody that's never been into Bitcoin. It got as low, Kenshawn, as 60,000, 59,225, Kenshawn. Now it's at 61,165. So it's already going back up again. We'll see if it continues. As the show goes on, we'll see if it continues its upward swing. But, I mean, this is normal with crypto. And these are the moments that if you're smart and you see you can buy more Matic now, and those of you that can stake it on crypto.com, you can stake it for 10%. If you move up to the green card, you can stake it for 12%, which is crazy. So this is what you're supposed to do. Anthony says, good morning, Big O. The 49ers, we need them to lose. We have their first round pick. Anyway, they played an amazing game yesterday. Do you think Gesicki can turn into a George Kittle? Yeah, all he needs is a Kyle Shanahan running the offense. Maybe we can find out about some of these linemen. Maybe they can actually play. I'm not saying all of them, but I think we will find out. A couple of them are pretty good. If you actually get a real offensive line coach, if you actually get a real offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach, then Tua will have more time to throw the ball. He can find receivers. A guy like Gesicki, if you get rid of Flores and that offensive staff, Gesicki will be used a lot more because a guy like Kyle Shanahan will be using Gesicki because he obviously has star quality to him. You know what I'm saying? Waddle and Gesicki are Pro Bowl players stuck in the mud in a garbage offense with garbage coaches. Okay? Let's just call it like we see it. That's the problem there. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the issue with the Miami offense. So when they fix that, when they actually can get an offensive coaching staff, then I think we'll be able to measure notice how the defensive players are all starting to develop, right? Jalen Phillips now, people are complaining. Now they're not because last few weeks he's coming around. You've been seeing little things from Javon Holland from the get-go, but over the last couple of weeks, he's been outstanding. Brandon Jones is growing up. Raekwon Davis got healthy after he got banged up in the first game. He's back. He's playing well. You're watching most of the defensive players. The only guy is Iggy, actually, and he doesn't play because he's got two starters in front of him. So this offseason, when they trade X, Iggy will get the opportunity, and you'll find out over the next year or two if he can grow into the position or not. I can see them signing a veteran corner in the offseason that will kind of share time with Iggy and bring Iggy along to see if he can ever develop. But most of the defensive players are developing. The offensive players, like I told you, Waddle and Gesicki are starring in spite of the garbage around them. And then all you're really lacking is the O-lineman. And that's because you have no O-line coach and you don't have a good offensive coordinator. If you have those two coaches, we would find out about some of those linemen. These drafts aren't as bad as people are making them out to be anymore. What's bad is the coaching that's going on, okay? That's the problem with the Miami Dolphins, is specifically the offensive coaches are absolutely terrible all over the place. So you fix that and things would be a lot different. There's a listener on Twitter that I was going back and forth with him right before the show started. And he wrote something that I loved. And I would agree with 1,000%. And where is it here? Let me just paraphrase it so I don't even have to look for it. But he basically said, if you had Chan Gailey as your offensive coordinator and Flo as your defensive coordinator, and you got a head coach, you would actually have one hell of a coaching staff. And I agree wholeheartedly on that, because I think there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being a good coordinator. Not everybody has to be a head coach. I've since I was young, I've called it the Richie Pettibone disease, because Richie Pettibone was the defensive coordinator for a long time for Joe Gibbs. And Joe Gibbs has done something that will never be duplicated ever in football. And in my eyes, it's actually the greatest coaching feat ever. And I know some of you would say, well, how are you going to say that with a perfect season in your backyard? I'm going to say, no. Joe Gibbs winning 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks is the greatest feat any head coach could ever accomplish in the NFL. It shows how good he is and his staff, that he could create the kind of team that could go win 3 different Super Bowls with 3 completely different quarterbacks. If you know what I'm talking about and you watched all 3 of those guys, it's impressive as hell. All right. And so you look at now I lost my train of thought, but with coaching, if you can have that kind of combination with the Dolphins and you could get a great head coach with those 2 guys as coordinators, that would make a lot of sense. I lost my train of thought there, but anyway, just if Miami can, they have to blow out this coaching staff in order to save themselves. They have to go out and get another coach and have to have a coach that can actually build a staff. They do that, I think they'll be able to solve their issues. All right. Let's do this. Let's take a really quick break, and let's get to Ira Winderman and the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, Ira, how are you doing, my brother?
You know what? I'm doing good, but this season really has been like a box of chocolates. You don't know from day to day what you're going to wind up getting with this Miami Heat team. And the fact that they ended the trip, with those 2 wins, I think mitigated some of the first 3 losses. And it just looks like this team will have enough to get where it wants to go. But it also shows it might be a little bit of a bumpy ride.
Well, but I got to tell you something, dude. Last night was actually a good thing.
Yes.
Because we're watching a different Tyler Hero. We're not watching just a guy that's a 6 man. We're watching a guy that is also developing into a leader, actually. A guy you can count on. A guy that now spoke and look at and say he has the mindset of a starter and the mindset of coming off the bench. And either way, he is prepared to help the team in any kind of mindset that I need right now. The maturity that I have seen from Tyler Hero from this year compared to what I've watched all last year, and even in his run with the bubble, that it was, even while he's having his success here, he's not even displaying the same kind of swag he was trying to, display in the bubble and all that stuff. There's a level of maturity to his game that I am incredibly impressed with. Your thoughts?
Damo, you're a lot smarter than you look, because literally while you were finishing your last segment, I was transcribing some Tyler Hero tape about what he's done, adding the weight, being a stronger player, working against the double teams. This is such a fascinating story in this season, from what we thought Tyler was, where we thought he was going, to how valuable he is. I would make this case right now. Of all the Heat players' claims for an all-star berth this year, Tyler Hero's number 1 on this roster. ahead of
Oh,
Jimmy,
yeah.
ahead of Kyle, ahead of Bam. But here's part two, and I'm going to put you on a spot. We're going to talk more with Clay tomorrow.
Even though Bam is an automatic, but go ahead. Yes,
Yes,
go ahead.
okay. So, but we're going to talk more with Clay tomorrow on the Pallet Rock City Inside the Paint.
Sure.
But in today's Accurate Penguin Pines report, I want to put you on the spot a little bit because something interesting is going to happen. The Heat play the Pelicans tomorrow. They finally get home at FTX Arena, and then back-to-back games against the Wizards on Thursday here, on Sunday in Washington at Capital One Arena. You remember all the trade talk, the Heat has to make a move. Who are they going to move? They're going to have to trade Tyler Hero. Big O, would you be as quick right now to trade a Tyler Hero on a rookie scale contract for Bradley Beal?
Wow, that's a great question.
Sure,
now.
that's why I want to put you on the spot.
No, hell no.
Okay. It's
Hell no,
interesting.
because I'm now getting the moxie as a finisher from him. I just told you he's developing into the attitude that he can start or come off the bench. Either way, I'm cutting your heart out. And if I look at the numbers that Tyler's producing compared to Bradley Beal, well, Bradley's probably offensive numbers are going to be slightly higher because his volume is higher than Tyler. So I'm really not getting that much more production for the amount that I'm giving back, and I'm giving them a younger player with less mileage on him. No, there's no way I would make that trade.
Okay, and then Big O, or as I like to call you, Orlando Alzagari, and give you part B. Tomorrow, the Pelicans come into FTX Arena. They are screwed. They are a mess. They don't know what they're going to be. David Griffin's on the way out. Zion Williamson clearly doesn't want to be there. Clearly has weight issues. Clearly seemingly needs the Miami Heat reformatory. Question number 2 for Orlando Alzagari on the spot here on a Tuesday morning. Would you trade Tyler Hero for Zion Williamson?
No. I was a John Morant guy, dude.
Okay.
When he came out in the draft, I said I'm drafting John Morant, not Zion
Williamson in today's perimeter NBA.
By the way, I then followed it up in my fantasy draft. Your keepers are only rookies. You can only take them in their, I had the opportunity to get Zion. I took John Morant, dude. I saw John Morant as the better long-term player, and I think you and I have had this conversation. I was worried that Zion's body, he was too explosive to stay healthy for his body. I was really worried about that with him.
And we're seeing that play out. So the point I'm trying to make here about Tyler Hero, and I think this is interesting for all Heat fans, those people who email me at askira@sunsentinel.com, there were always thoughts about a trade that you want to trade a player when his value is the highest. Never before has Tyler Hero's value been this high. I think you'd agree. You might say, well, in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics, but that was beyond a trading deadline. That wasn't a trading period. There was nothing you were going to do in that moment except wait for the offseason. So I think it's really interesting the way it's set up. And I'm working on a story for the Sun Sentinel on this. We have to stop talking about a Heat Big Three. We came into the season, it might look good on a media guide and all that. You have Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler, and God bless them. It's a Big Four. And here's why that matters, Big O.
I was about to tell you that.
Right. And here's why it matters. Because you can go without 2 of them if the other 2 are on the top of their game. Look, Eric Spoelstra made a calculated decision. I know he's going to say, no, Bam couldn't play, no, Jimmy couldn't play. He also said,
I thought Bam was going to play. Right. And when I saw he wasn't, I go, well, it's OKC.
Yes. So he looked at the competition. He was not going to denigrate what they're doing in Oklahoma City, youngest team in the NBA. They're an evolving team. They sat out Derek Favors. They're sort of finding their way also, and I get that. So my contention is against anything but elite. If 2 of the Big Four are playing well, the Heat can find a way. Well, yesterday you had Tyler Hero lead them in scoring, which is sort of becoming the regular now. And you had Kyle Lowry get his 3rd Miami Heat double-double, 11 assists, tied his Heat career high, obviously a short sample size, and was at the top of his game. That's the difference this year, is you have this sort of poo-poo platter of you can just pick 2 players, and if they go off, that's going to be enough in most games. Other games, quality opponents, yes, you're going to need 3. You might need all 4. But there's a depth of leadership. There's a depth of stardom. It's going to be really interesting. We saw this in the voting for Defensive Player of the Year last year. The Heat split the baby. Some people voted for Jimmy Butler for his perimeter defense. Some voted for Bam for his interior defense. Neither got the award. Rudy Gobert did. I think the All-Star voting is going to be very interesting also from the players, from the media. and from the fans, because when you look at your Heat All-Star ballot, you got to be reasonable. This is not that Atlanta team of 5 or 6 years ago that dominated the division and the whole roster went. The Heat probably will wind up with 1 or 2 All-Stars. I can't tell you who that is now. The voting hasn't started. The All-Star game is not till late February. But it's really interesting that I think if you and I had a segment here on our twice-a-week Acura Pembroke Pines report, and we said, who is the best Miami Heat player, I think there'd be a real barometer. I think sometimes we'd say Tyler. Sometimes Jimmy got off to a great start of the season. He was player of the week for the second week of the season. You can see Kyle Lowry's impact, and you could see at times Bam when he takes charge like he did in the games against Los Angeles and the Clippers and the Lakers. So it's a nice problem to have. But right now, if you're asking me, in fact, I'll make this easier for you, so it's something you can relate to. Right now, if I was going to consider the Heat in terms of crypto, I am buying Hero Coin because I think Hero Coin has appreciated about 40% since the start of the season. That's what's interesting about this Heat team. I think every time you and I talk twice a week here on the Acura of Pembroke Pines report, we're going to be talking about who the best Heat player is at the moment, and it will not be the same player.
Yeah, no, he's definitely rising, and I guess I'll put Bam as Bitcoin because he's just rock solid, and then I can put Jimmy as Ethereum, okay, because he just provides it all. It's the blockchain, everything. So I'll spread them out like that, and then I can use Lowry as Cardano, ADA. There we go. So I can kind of attribute them all to coins now. It helps when 2 are out and 2 are in when you're getting the proper support from everybody else. And last night, baby, watching Duncan stroke it, the Struce was loose. And, we'll get to KZ also in a minute, but it was just like, it was nice to see also, Dedmon came in, and I know the Yurtsevin was in there and all that, but it was – I know. But it's good. But it's good playing time for him. It's good experience. That's the one thing that I want for Yurtseven is just to get a little playing time every once in a while to get acclimated and kind of grow into the position because he needs to grow into all of this. But having Duncan and the Struce shooting the way they shot last night, that was enormous.
It was a three-pointer game. Both teams, the majority of shots in the first half were three-pointers. The Heat put up 40. It's sort of who they are and what they had to be in that moment, and they came through. And yes, the supporting talent is, again, most of the Heat's prime bench started, Dwayne Dedmon and Tyler Hero last night, because of injuries. That was the first time Dwayne has played more than 20 minutes in a Heat uniform. They love his bursts. He was asked for more. He came up with the block shots. He was rock solid, and he was steady. You needed that. Struce being back is important for this reason. Yes. If Duncan isn't hitting shots, you go to plan B. When they're both hitting shots, you always have a floor spacer out there, and that worked out for the Heat also. I like the effort of KZ, but let's face it, Big O. Unless 2 or 3 stars are out, he's not playing. He's your 12th man anyway. But
it was nice. It was nice to see him at least
because you know why?
Do something,
He was playing against a team of young athletes also, so he fit into that mix. It was a bunch of athletic guys who were just running around, maybe you could say with their head cut off, but that's kind of the player that KZ is now. Yurtseven was disappointing. He played 3 minutes, 33 seconds in that one stint in the first quarter. He was minus 11. He looked a little bit lost. And again, you and I talk about it in our twice weekly reports here. I talk about it with Clay also. Fans might clamor for a certain player, and we try to tell them he's just not ready. Yes, against an Oklahoma City Thunder in that spot, you can spot him. You can give him some minutes. But he's your third string center. And when they go small, it's not going to work. He's not able to go out there and guard a Mike Muscala or someone like that because he doesn't have the foot speed. His time will come. This isn't Summer League. He'll get spotted here or there, and it'll work out down the road, probably next season. But you could see last night how much the supporting cast, even Gabe Vincent defensively, still can't make a shot. I don't know why, but he was working his butt off there defensively. The bench came through for them. Again, we have to have perspective, people. It was the Oklahoma City Thunder and a game you should win. They were playing on a back-to-back. Now it gets interesting. Pelicans are down, but then you have 2 in a showdown for first place against the Wizards coming up later this week. So I think that'll be a little bit more of a measuring stick.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun to watch. And dare I say this, that I'm glad that Struce is back because you actually even get slightly a little more defense from Strus than you do Duncan. I mean,
He plays bigger. He plays thicker. He plays more as a forward kind of player. He's not as foul prone.
and
Duncan.
he has a little nastier streak in him.
Yes.
Like he wants to play defense, whereas Duncan's kind of passive in all of that. This kid, actually, what I like about Strus is he's hungry to play. It doesn't mean that he's a good defender, but the effort to try to play defense will be there with him.
This is how I phrase it.
And by the way, it's not like Duncan is lazy. Duncan tries.
Absolutely.
Okay,
this is how I phrase the two. Max Strus plays as a defender who wants to get in your way.
Right.
Duncan Robinson plays as a defender who wants to get out of the way and not get another foul. That's the subtle difference between the two.
Yeah. It is funny watching him sometimes when he isn't like.
I didn't foul. How many times does he put both hands up? Wasn't on me. Couldn't have been on me. I mean, you talk about a guy who must be hearing whistles in his sleep.
Well, he's this so far this part of the season, he's done it a few games where he's picked up early fouls. You know what I mean?
And it kills the Heat because especially when they're shorthanded, you don't have that. When Strus was out, when he was overcome the knee injury and was out for almost 2 full weeks after getting hurt in Memphis, the timing was bad there. But you know what? You see when Duncan hits shots, how everything changes. You saw it in the Jazz game. You saw it in the Thunder game. Tyler Hero says the double teams come less to him. They'll come less to Bam when he's back in there also. So that's important. Now I'm curious about a little bit about Wednesday is how do the Heat approach it? Do they say, well, it's just the Pelicans. They're struggling. Even though Ingram is back, can we rest guys a little bit more? So again, folks, it's not always as much about the injury. Sometimes it's about the opponent as well.
Yeah. And they are they're a terrible team. They're by the way, they're really good to bet against. Because they don't.
No, I remember seeing that about the line, and like they don't come
cover
close.
the number much. Yeah.
And they're lost. They're a team built around a player who's not playing and a player who you're not sure really wants to play for them either. So it's sort of a tough mix. And you look at some of those who've gotten away. I mean, look at Lonzo Ball and what he's doing right now with the Chicago Bulls and some of the front office moves they've made. I think that'll be one of the early season GM changes that we see with David Griffin moving on and hopefully trying to find themselves. They've gone through an absolutely revolving door of coaches from Alvin Gentry to Stan Van Gundy to Willie Green. Hasn't really changed.
And the shame about New Orleans is that this is catastrophic for them, Ira, because they really needed to hit on a star and keep the star and build something there, because after the whole AD mess and now you've got the Zion mess and, David now is going to be out. It's just they cannot find.
It goes back to Chris Paul. Even to Chris Paul, they can't keep a player. What you need to do is you need to get a star GM, a star coach in there, so a player says, this is a place I want to be, because the marketing opportunities aren't there. That hasn't happened for them. They haven't found it. They thought Stan Van Gundy, a bigger name, maybe that would work. They have to find someone. They have to find the next it guy. And the question, Big O, is this. Does the next it guy want to work in New Orleans? Or is he going to wait for a job opening in a better location, whether it's in LA, whether it's in New York, whether it's Chicago, or something like that? So that's a problem. Look, there are some places this league should not have teams. And I'm surprised they do for whatever circumstance. I mean, the NBA is a team in Oklahoma City. I mean, Major League Soccer doesn't have a team in Oklahoma City.
But at least they get the support in Oklahoma City, at least.
They do. So and they've had a great front office. Now, they lose players, but Sam Presti has found a way to churn through the Hardens and the Durants, and now, Gilgeous-Alexander and what he can give them, and they keep moving in with players. So that's smart front officing, which you have to have as an essential in a smaller, lower revenue market.
How we have a team in New Orleans and not Vegas is beyond me, dude.
Oklahoma
you know what I'm saying?
City and not Seattle, having moved on from there.
Yeah, Seattle too.
Every time I go to California, what the hell am I doing in Sacramento? It's just the NBA sort of followed the model of, if we have a soul market like Salt Lake City, we can really build a strong fan base. And maybe there's something to it also. But there's a lot of larger metropolitan areas, even Kansas City. Some people talk about Louisville. It never worked in Pittsburgh or St. Louis for whatever reason. But there are some places I go when you try to book travel and you're going, okay, 2 flights in a day. It's like you're trying to get to Hooterville.
Yeah. Oh, God. Damn. And by the way, didn't the Fish save Pittsburgh?
The Fish
All right.
did say Pittsburgh, Julius Erving's greatest star moment there. Probably the greatest basketball film until Semi-Pro came along, or Will Ferrell's movie, but that's another story for another day.
Blue chips, baby, blue chips.
I'm talking ABA
I
style.
know, yeah, I know where you're going. All right, so Bam and Butler, another day of vacation tomorrow.
As needed. Eric Spoelstra would say, this is who the Pelicans have. This is who we have. This is their injury status. Okay, what can we do to find a compromise between winning a game we need to win, getting back home, and keeping our players healthy enough for bigger games coming up down the schedule? You know, it's a mixed schedule. The Heat then have the Wizards for 2 in a row after that.
But let me bring something up. Brandon
Okay.
Ingram can be a pain in the ass.
Yes, single-handedly he can.
And if you don't have Butler and you don't have
Defensively.
Bam, yeah, defending that guy will be that much more difficult.
Except one thing I'm
I
going
would
to
like
tell
to
you.
have one of those guys available. I'm just saying for Brandon Ingram. I'm just saying.
Except PJ Tucker will guard anyone. And he guarded Gilgeous-Alexander last night. And you might say, wait a minute, that stocky 6'5" guy.
Yeah,
Again, I always tell people this. If you can go to the games, if you can watch a wider angle, you need to see the little stuff. You need to see PJ Tucker working his butt off, doing stuff that fill no single specific statistical column, but get the job done. So, yeah, it's weird. You might say, wait, he's a wing. You can't put your power forward on him. Yeah, you can, because Spoelstra did last night, and it worked.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Riley even said it like 2 months ago. You're like, I love the guy. He can guard anybody. And
yes, and he can.
He literally can guard anybody, because defense is all about effort. You know what I mean? And that's, of course you need some athleticism and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't have that fire and desire to play defense,
right,
you'll never become a great defender. It's just one of those things that has to be natural in somebody. You know,
spot on.
All right, Ira, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, Dwayne Wade has a new photographic memoir out, and I didn't want to write the same story about here are the pictures and what they did. So I spoke specifically to Dwayne. A very interesting section in that book was his visit to Parkland 3 weeks after the incident at Stoneman Douglas, how much that meant to him, going back there for that class's graduation, maintaining a presence in South Florida. And just how, even though he's gone right now, how much he meant to this community, and how Dwayne said he will never forget this community. So you're going to see a lot of reviews of the book. Today was the release day. I try to keep it more local, what Dwayne meant to this community. Story posted there. Later in the day, I'm going to have a notebook about Tyler Hero and the added weight he's put on, that you could throw your double teams at him and he'll bust through it, that he's a different player physically as well as mentally this season. So a lot going on with the Heat. So you'll have those two at sunsentinel.com. Already posted my Ask Ira at sunsentinel.com about Omar Yurtsev, nice guy, but just not ready maybe for his cameo at the moment right now. So plenty to read. Go ahead and subscribe. Wouldn't mind a few more readers.
By the way, at the end of that Wade interview, did you say Jazz suck? I'm just saying.
You know what? I didn't, but I'll let you in on something. I still have the sense that eventually the part owner of the Jazz instead will become a part owner of the Heat. And I could see at some point down the road, Dwayne and UD getting a small part of this team, getting their statues in front of the arena and going there. So right now, Dwayne is sort of, I think, doing his owner apprenticeship, but I would not be surprised eventually to see Dwayne Wade back with the Miami Heat tie-in.
There you go. Always the nuggets are dropping. Ira Winderman, baby. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. And more importantly, folks, I tell you all the time, please subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and support Ira and all the terrific journalists that are in that newspaper. Ira, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up on Friday.
And catch you an hour tomorrow also at 9 a.m. Thank you, Big O.
You got it. 9 a.m., 9 to 10, baby. It'll be the Pallet Rock City Inside the Paint show. That'll be tomorrow morning. But this was the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Akaris1 on the chat board puts, nope, I'm not hitting the like button. until Big O recognizes the greatness of Albert Yak Wilson II. Tell O that Wilson II buys crypto. Yeah, but what kind of crypto does he buy? Is he like a Preston Williams phony that talks about Dogecoin? Like, I always love the people that just like only like invest in Doge, and they act like they are like really involved in crypto and they know crypto and they know what crypto's all about. And because, I got Doge, because somebody else told me to get Doge, that kind of stuff. But if Wilson invests in real crypto, then props to him on that. And yes, we will give him love, Akaris One. Today we will give him love for going out there and actually making some plays this week. He helped the team. I gotta give the guy some love on that, man. He did help the team. Still don't think he belongs on the team, but he helped the team. You gotta give the person credit when they deserve it, like KZ Okpala yesterday. Gotta give KZ a little love for that performance, man. That was actually nice. Let's see, Bitcoin still just over 61,000, still fiddling around 61,000. Remember, folks, you can make a donation to the program by Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show is the address. That's Cash Big O Show. The links are right under on the YouTube page. But if you're listening to the podcast, Cash Big O Show. Good segment, Ira. It's always a great segment with Ira. Always love talking a little basketball with Ira. And with Ira knows that with me, he knows I watch the games. If there's one thing I do, I watch the games, man. Doesn't matter what it is, hockey or basketball or baseball or football or whatever. I watch the games, because it's the only way you're going to be able to do a talk show is if you actually watch the games. And, watching the Heat last night, to me, that's what stood out. When I'm watching that game, I'm watching Tyler Hero, and I'm watching Tyler Hero become a man. He was a fresh-faced kid that was having some fun out there a couple of years ago, fearless, didn't care, was out there just stroking it and having a good time. And then expectations set in. His head got a little blown up a little bit. He picked up this beautiful IG model, Katya, right? And so, obviously life is good. So what happens to you when you're that young, you get that kind of a woman, you have that kind of success, like all of us. My head probably would have gotten bigger than, a Goodyear blimp myself. And you know what? He got a little too big for his britches, as they say. And so the kid got humbled. But he took that slice of humble pie and he said, you know what? That wasn't me, dude. I'm better than that. And I don't know if it was having a baby, which does change you a little bit. Any of us that have become fathers or those of you that become mothers, you know what I'm talking about. When you have that added responsibility that all of a sudden now you're not just living for yourself. Now you're living for somebody else. Like I told you guys the other day, all this crypto crap that I'm going through and hoping that I can, develop a couple little bucks here or there. I'm not going to enjoy that money in the end. It's probably going to be all my daughter, not me. I'm 55, dude. I've kind of enjoyed my life. I'm on the back nine of my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm going to, really whatever. It's stuff that I would rather, because that's who you're living for. That's who you're working for. You know what I mean? That's what life is all about. So maybe that's what it is with him. Maybe he's grown up a little bit. And when I watched him last night, I'm watching a guy that I'm going, man, I love this kid's mindset now. Now he's got the fearless mindset and he is deadly focused. He is working incredibly hard to make sure he takes his shot. That's what I love. He is not settling for what the defense gives him. No. He's working to take away from the defense what he wants. That's what I love about his game. His game is actually setting the tone of how he's going to play that night. And look, he's going to have a couple of nights where he runs into a couple of defensive teams and players that maybe, create a little bit more of a difficult night for him, and he may have to settle for shots that he may not want at times. But that's not what I'm seeing from him right now. He is finding a way to get his shot off, and that's why they're going in, man. That's why he's playing so well. It's really, really impressed with Tyler Hero and the way he has grown. You can tell mentally, you can tell physically, you can tell his game, his IQ was always high. Now it's fine-tuned. That's why at this point, you think about this. The Heat are now, they possibly have found 2 stars without having to have top 5 picks in Bam and Tyler. I believe they're both the 13th pick overall in the draft, correct? I want to say, look it up for me, Sean, but I want to say they were both like taken in the same spot in the first round or something ridiculous like that. So these aren't guys that were taken really high in the draft. They were in the back end of the lottery. And yet somehow or another, they were able to find 2 guys that are going to turn into all-stars. That's pretty damn impressive, dude. And Duncan Robinson, I don't know if you call him an all-star, but he's an all-star shooter at least. I mean, he's one of the 5 greatest shooters in the NBA right now, bar none. Yes, sir?
Tyler was picked 13. Bam was picked 14.
Okay, so there you go. I'm off by 1. 13-14. I knew it was pretty close. I thought it was the same. But think about that, man. Think about where you got Duncan, and now look where you picked Bam and Tyler. Are you kidding me? It's freaking awesome, dude. It really is. Alex Akaris1 says +1 like button. There you go. Thank you, sir. Thomas Jensen says JMO, Greer, and Flo knew last year's pretty early in the practices during the season that they had a problem on their hands with Tua because of the hip injury. They have shown to move on quick from mistakes. Thomas, you and I are going to disagree on this. I don't think they want to move on from the mistake now. I think Flo wants to move on from the mistake. I'm seeing everybody else being very supportive of Tua. I'm only seeing the head coach. You and I are reading it a little different. Okay? I see an organization that wants Tua. I see a head coach that doesn't want Tua. That's what I'm watching. I don't know what you're watching, but that's what I'm watching. When I'm seeing players talk to the guy, when I'm seeing Marino talk to the guy, I kind of feel that Flo is the odd man out right now. I think Flo is the one that is not going with the current. And that's why we're having all these issues with this team. But that's just me. And you know what, Thomas? The beauty is time answers all, my brother. So we'll find out if you're right in the end or if I'm right. We'll see. But I think that the front office, because I don't want to lose Greer. I don't want to lose Reggie McKenzie. I don't want to lose Marvin Allen. I think these guys can pick players. I think they can build this team. I think they need to save their asses by getting rid of this coaching staff and bringing in another coach. That's just me. Nelson says, oh, you know what? Let's take a quick break. Hour number 2 is next.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, aka the Big O, he covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Scotty Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Boy, sir, time to rock and roll on the program. Hour number 2 on the show. Remember, tomorrow, 9 to 10 a.m. will be our Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint show with Ira Winderman and Clay Farrar. We do it every week, 9 to 10 a.m. I know last week because Ira was in the West Coast, so we changed it. But normally it's 9 to 10. So that means tomorrow we should be on around 8:30, 8:40, right around there. I don't know. All depends. If I'm a little tired, maybe I'll make it 8:40. If I feel refreshed, it'll be 8:30. That kind of deal. Anyway, so we will be on tomorrow morning a little earlier as normal. So Sean and I will be rocking and rolling, and the boys will be on. Remember, Sean and I are on the road this week a lot, man. First of all, Thursday, it starts now. Every Thursday, we are at Hialeah Park. All right, Hialeah Park and Casino. So Thursdays 10 to 1, we're going to be out there. Come on out and join us. You can have fun at the poker room. You can gamble with all the machines. You can bet on all the horse tracks around the country. There's something else that's developing that I'm not even sure if I'm allowed yet to talk about it, but it's big news that I've known for a couple months and I can't say anything about it. But anyway, so they've got the Santa's Enchanted Forest. I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff. And hopefully we'll get some tickets to give away for Santa's Enchanted Forest. We will also try to do a show or two out there at Santa's Enchanted Forest. So we'll be out there a couple of evenings, Sean and myself. So we'll be having some fun. You know how it goes, right, Sean? You know what's going to happen, right? So you and I are going to be at Santa's Enchanted Forest working. Meanwhile, your wife and family, my wife and family, will be walking around, eating elephant ears, riding rides, all that kind of stuff. Although, Sean, we do have to make some deals with them. That okay, we'll get them the passes to go in. They can ride all the rides they want, all that stuff. But they got to bring us food, right? I mean, what's your go-to fair food that you got? For me, I got to have an elephant ear, bro. It is a law. It's like when I go to Tampa, I got to eat at Burns Steakhouse, okay? Same thing. If I go to any fair, I got to have an elephant ear. How about you? What's your go-to food?
Fried Oreos.
Oh, okay. All right. Fried Oreos. I've heard a lot of people talk about the fried Oreos. I've never tried the fried Oreos in my life. It just sounds kind of gross, bro. So when you get the fried Oreo, I'm gonna try one. Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna try one for the first time. Because, man, for so many years, you'd come out of the expo at the youth fair, and then you'd start walking down that thing, and there was always the fried Oreo truck was always right there when you get out of the expo at the youth fair. Always. I mean, forever. Okay? The one thing, I don't know if they're going to have this at Santa's Enchanted Forest, but I do love dunking Bozo the Clown. That I do love. So if they have that, I got to go over there, spend a couple of bucks, dunk his ass a couple times, because I definitely do it a couple times. There's no doubt. Unlike, let's say Lamar Jackson or Ryan Tannehill, I got accuracy, okay? Anyways, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. That's the text line. If you want to get in on the program, of course, you could chime in on the YouTube chat board. For those of you that are watching on YouTube right now, the Twitter page, Big O Show, Yahoo email, bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. And of course, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Sid says he's got to have a corn dog. There you go. Kyle says, are we having chicken and waddle show? No chicken and waddle show. Adam says, I remember entering the science projects at the Dade County Youth Fair. I only did it once. My daughter had it several times, but I did have one when I was a kid. Just one. Jeremy says, Big O, I would keep Flo and move him to defensive coordinator. Then I'd hire a new offensive coordinator and a new head coach. Jeremy, that's not how it works. You can't play the human Jenga anymore, because the head coach has to be able to hire his own assistant coaches. You can't do that. You can't force a defensive coordinator. And I know what you're saying, because I'm with you on that. I understand. I like Flo as a defensive coordinator. I don't like Flo as a head coach because he can't build a staff. So I totally understand where you're coming from, but it just can't be exercised that way. And then what are you going to do? You're going to demote Flo and keep him? Do you know how that just doesn't work? He's going to say, no, you fire me and you pay me the rest of my money. And then I go work for Belichick again. That's what's going to happen. He's just going to go right back to Belichick. It's not like he's going to get another job. Nobody's going to hire him as a head coach because he can't build a staff. So that's his problem. Let's see. What else do we have here? Alexander says, if is real serious about hiring a coach, you get Lane Kiffin, and if FIU is serious, you go after a defensive coordinator of Alabama. Well, first of all, FIU can't even afford uniforms. They can't afford shoulder pads. They have to have donations of old pads from other schools. Dude, that's just, that doesn't fly, man. That just doesn't fly. So you want them to actually spend on their coaches when they can't spend on the program. FIU is a joke, man. That's all. After you hearing what's going on, FIU is an absolute joke. They have no business having a football program. As I told you, and you probably nobody talks about this because unless you're related to an FIU student, you wouldn't know. But go ask students about what they pay every month to keep that athletic program afloat, and really mostly the football program, because the football program is a major loser. Not a loser, a major loser. It is losing so much money for them. So if you can't build a program to draw fans, then you shouldn't have a program. That's all. FIU doesn't draw anybody, dude. Nobody cares about FIU. It's, 10 people that care about FIU football. So you're asking something that is unrealistic. Dougie Fresh says, music question. Do you know any live concerts where I could go get the female lead singer to help me with a lingerie jellyfish sting? Asking for a friend. By the way, that the band, I forgot the name of the band again, that was at Rockville, and the lead singer, the entire band said, we had no idea that was coming. You won't be seeing that anymore in our shows. So apparently there was a real serious conversation with the lead singer about, hey, you can't do that anymore on stage. So there you go. So, yeah. Oh my God, Santa's Enchanted Forest. I used to go there all the time when I was a kid. It's not on Bird Road anymore. No, sir. It just got eliminated from Bird Road, and Hialeah Park saved it, and now it's at Hialeah Park. So those folks that came from the north, they're probably happy because it's a little closer to them now because it's in Hialeah. That's such a great property. That thing is so large. They can do so much in that place. Get Baylor's coaching staff. You got to spend money, dude. So Marlboro Man says, how does Greer get a pass? Organization has been making bad decisions since before Flo was here. Marlboro Man, yo, my brother, you got to stop with the stupidity. Every one of you out there, Greer was not in charge before 3 years ago. Okay? He wasn't in charge of the organization. He's in charge of the entire football team now. So you judge him from 3 years on. He didn't pick all the players 4, 5, 10, 15 years ago. He was just part of it. This ignorance, because it gets to a point where it's insulting. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds effing racist. Because if it was a white guy, I almost have a problem that nobody would have done this. But somehow or another, because it's the black guy, that they weren't even listening to him for 15 years. But somehow or another, all you people out there make him sound like he was in charge. Yeah, this sets me off a little bit. because I'm effing tired of the ignorance. The guy wasn't in charge. He's now in charge of the draft, of free agency, of street free agency, of trades, of coaching. He's in charge of everything now. Now you blame him for everything or credit him for everything. Are we clear on this? Stop blaming people for stuff they never did. I've never heard of this, only with Chris Greer. Never heard of this with anybody else that gets hired inside an organization. Never, ever, ever heard this. But the same stupid ass stuff comes out every time. Well, no, it's his fault for 7 years ago, and it's his fault 10 years ago, and it's his fault 15 years ago, when he was never in charge. Jesus Christ, dude. Damn, man. Same crap, bro. Every time. And one idiot says it, and 15 other morons repeat it. God bless, dude. This doesn't happen with anybody. But somehow or another, it happens with a black guy. And I don't like to play the damn race game. But I've never heard of this. And Mike, the O-linemen suck because you have no O-line coach. Why do you see all the defensive players developing now? Because you have a defensive coach. Iggy's the only one because he doesn't play. He's got 2 starters. Use your head, dude. Waddle and Gesicki are fine. It's all the O-linemen. So you're going to tell me all the O-linemen suck. So wait a minute. Hold on a second. So if all the defensive players except Iggy and Waddle and Gesicki are hits, and they hit on Minka, but obviously Flo doesn't like him, so they got rid of him, and they hit on Tunsil, so let's fire the personnel people because they didn't get the offensive line right. Just for the hell of it. Let's just have some fun with that. But if you're hitting on all your defensive players, they're all coming around except Iggy, right? Raekwon's playing well. Brandon's playing well. I like Van Ginkel. Jalen's developing, right? Waddle's developing. Gesicki's developing. Why do you think there's a coincidence that all the old linemen aren't developing? I wonder why. I mean, use common sense, dude. I wonder why the offense sucks. Use common sense. I mean, do any of you ever think for yourselves? Or do you just repeat some stupid ass thing that somebody else says? I'm just wondering. Get me a real offensive coordinator and Tua will look a lot better. Get me a real offensive line coach and all of a sudden you'll run the ball, you'll pass the ball, linemen will look better. But if you don't have that, they'll look terrible and they'll go to other places and play well. Think for yourselves. Big O, do you still keep up with Marvel movies? Shang-Chi is awesome, and the Eternals is very interesting movie in the MCU as well. I'll check it out. Derek says, this is what happens when the Dolphins have sucked for over 20 years, yelling and screaming, I'm tired of mediocrity. I'm just tired of stupidity, Derek. Just tired of stupidity. That's all. Stop blaming Chris Greer for what happened 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. The guy wasn't in charge. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of blaming somebody who wasn't in charge. So I'm just tired of the ignorance. The guy wasn't hiring, firing coaches. The guy wasn't hiring or drafting and in charge of free agency and in charge of trades all throughout. but yet he keeps getting blamed for everything from the past. It's just the weirdest thing. It makes no sense. Big O from the Bahamas again. Yesterday, I commented on the redistribution of Bitcoin. Oh, yeah, I know. I got you already. It didn't break 67. Now it's going down. Okay, well, I got you, Ken Sean. I already read one of those, but it's fine. We shall see, my brother. Time will find out. You know, if it does go down to 24,000 or whatever you said, we'll give you plenty of credit, and I'll load up on Bitcoin. Let's see what else. John Wayne's 45 says, because he has nothing to do with racism, Jerky. Well, I mean, it's still kind of weird to me. I've never heard of anybody blaming somebody else that wasn't in charge. And somehow or another, this only comes up with this situation here. So it's just the weirdest thing to me, bro. It really is. Keep blaming somebody that wasn't in charge doesn't make any sense. It's flat out stupid. It's as ignorant as it gets. That's all I got to say about that. It's as ignorant as it freaking gets. By the way, draft order. Philly is now number 5 with our pick. And our pick is now number 12 because of San Francisco's win last night. So you're in the top 12 right now I know Dolphins fans last night were sitting there going, damn, come on, Rams, let's go. Now I'm thinking of this, right? I'm watching that game last night. And I didn't have the volume on. I had it on the side because I was watching the Heat and stuff. I'd rather watch something that really mattered to me. I didn't really care about that game. The only thing I cared about is I'm hoping the Niners lose, but obviously they exploded and ran all over the Rams. But Odell didn't do much. 2 catches, 18 yards. They had the miscommunication where he stopped running and it ended up being an interception and all that stuff. And Stafford sucked. He threw a pick 6 and all that. And they dominated him. They kicked the Rams' ass last night. And I thought actually the Rams would win that game, like a close game, but I thought they would win it. And that was impressive that obviously the Niners won. But there's a part of me I have to think about this. Not that this is a real thing. Okay, being a bad luck charm is not a real thing. But dude, you gotta admit, the Odell Beckham thing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hell in with the Giants, with that clown, having to deal with that fool and all the crap that goes with it. And even when you did make the playoffs, he crapped on the bed with him and the whole receiving corps because they were in South Beach and all that stuff. And then it was a mess in Cleveland. He was there for a couple of years, did absolutely nothing. And this was not the kind of start that you want to start off for the Rams. And again, the Rams, he has nothing to do with defense. Again, their asses run over and getting trucked, 44 rushes for, 44 rushes. What did they do? 156 yards yesterday. So they kicked their ass thoroughly, and it had nothing to do with Odell Beckham on defense. But I'm just saying, having Odell Beckham on your team, it's like everybody looks to it like this is the answer to everything. Oh, yeah, no, we can get it. We can add this playmaker. And, Robert Woods got injured, so a lot of people, trying to say, okay, well, you lost Woods. Now you plug in Odell and all that, and they play different positions. But either way, it's just I'm going to be interested to see if all hell breaks loose for the Rams and there's Odell Beckham sitting in the middle of it again. And, he'll just, that Odell will never be the part of any kind of solution to anything. He will just add to the problems, whatever they may be. And the Rams are one of those teams that was considered kind of a Super Bowl contender. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happens right now with the whole Odell thing. But I thought of it right away. I'm like, man, you acquire Odell and it always starts off like thinking like he's going to be this great thing, great addition to your team, and he just doesn't end up being that great addition to your team for whatever reason. And last night, it really had nothing to do with him being a problem or anything like that. But it was a problem because you did throw him out there. He wasn't ready, and he caused the turnover in the process. You know what I mean? So really, he wasn't ready, and he shouldn't have played last night, to be honest. But it is what it is. I'm just going to be interested to see how this whole the rest of the Rams season develops and what happens with Odell on that team this year. Does it work out, or does it go awry and he becomes another disruptive, cog to a problem that's arising on a football team? Let's see. Daniel says, if I just bought altcoins, should I keep them for the long run or sell? Daniel, you should, listen, man, I'm not a financial advisor. You do whatever you want. Nothing is kept permanently long-term, my brother, except Bitcoin. Everything else is for sale. And as I've said, and as I've told all of you out there, whatever you invest, make sure you're willing to lose it. And whatever you invest, try to get it back as soon as possible. Okay? So if it starts growing and it grows, everybody's different. Financially, we're all in different positions. Some people that are well off, they can let it sit there and let it grow and whatever. But there are going to be corrections. And after this bull run is over, there are going to be monster corrections. So why are you holding it if it's then going to correct again? Then you're holding it for nothing. So you want to sell at peaks because you want to take money off of the top is what you want to do. So example, as I mentioned yesterday to people, we're all different, but have a plan. If an investment goes up 30%, take 10% off, or maybe 20%, or 40%, or 50%. Take 5, take 10, take 15% off, whatever pace you want to go. But I suggest, every 30% it goes up, you take 10% off. And you keep taking 10% off. And you keep taking 10% off. Why? Because you want to keep taking profits off the top. You always want to try to get back your initial investment and then start taking profits. It's never about letting it sit there and grow forever. Bitcoin, yes. Okay, Bitcoin's the one that I always tell you, do not sell. Do not use Bitcoin as currency. Once you buy Bitcoin, you leave it sit there. Don't ever use it unless you have a family emergency. You want to surprise your daughter, your son with a brand new car for college graduation. Maybe you need some money for your college fund down the line for your kids. Maybe you're investing in Bitcoin now and your kid's 5 years old. And when he or she is 18, and maybe if they're not smart enough to get a full ride scholarship, we're going to have to pay, right? So maybe you want to use your Bitcoin 15 years from now after it's been sitting there. You understand what I'm saying? But you only use Bitcoin for emergency purposes. Everything else is altcoins. Everything else is for sale. Make a profit. That's what it's all about. Okay? All of you by now should have your Ethereum investment out, since we've been talking about it for a year now. And we were telling you about it when it was at 15 and 17 and 1800, and it was approaching $5,000. It's at 4,400. I would hope you have taken profits out already. Okay? I would hope. If you got VeChain at 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 cents, and it's climbed to 16, 17, 18 cents, I would hope you're already pulling out profits. Do you understand? Be smart in all of this. Okay? There are going to be market corrections, like we're going through one right now. This one's minor. This one's nothing. It's mediocre. It's a little thing. It's overcoming. That's not a problem. But once the run is done, I don't know how long it'll take, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whenever that run is done, there's going to be a market correction. And these altcoins will go down 40, 50, 70, 80%. And then what? Right? So you want to hang on to them because then you would just want to buy on the dip. And then when it bounces back, you're making more money. But while it's going up now, make sure you're taking profits along the way. Always. Okay? Protect yourselves. Be smart. Flores is the only coach to accept tanking for Tua. Now everyone wants to bash Flores 5-11. Joel, shows that you don't know jack crap, dude. They were never tanking, bro. I'm sorry. I hate to bother you, bro, on this, but that's the dumbest thing that people got. But again, bro, this is this world. You don't think for yourself. So one idiot says tanking, and then everybody else repeats it. They were never tanking, dude. They were trying to win games from the get-go. They were trying to win games with young people. They were never tanking. That's something that's made up by media members, locally, nationally, whatever, and it was all ridiculous. And every media member that did it was wrong. And every fan that says it is dead-ass wrong. They were never tanking. Flo tries to win games. That's it. He tried to win all those games, however he could win them. But early on, you lost your first 7 because you were a really bad team. You were so young. But eventually, you don't finish 5-4 and beat the Jets the Patriots at the end of the year in New England if you're tanking. This is the dumbest crap that people. This is the stupid stuff that fans come up with, and also media members. Oh, they're tanking. Oh, Greer's fault. Whatever happened 10 years ago. And then one idiot says it, and 50 other morons follow through. When the proof is there that they were trying to win games. So all that tanking crap, what was your name? Who said that? Well, I forgot your name now. You're full of crap. All you are is a sheep repeating something that someone else said that made no sense whatsoever. Big O, what are your thoughts on investing on ENS? What would you recommend for a beginner? ENS, I'm sorry, what's ENS? What coin is that? I don't know what ENS is, my brother. I have to look up that coin. I don't know which one that is. If I don't know the coin, I'll simply tell you I don't know the coin and I don't know about it. I'm not going to make up anything, dude. ENS. Ethereum name service. I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole, dude. You invest in Ethereum. I don't know anything about this, dude. Just like, some people told me about Ethereum Classic, and I'm like, do you know what Ethereum Classic is? That was the old Ethereum when it got hacked and it was no good, and they squashed it and they moved on and they built the real Ethereum now. So I'm not. Yeah, no. I would not touch ENS. I'm an Ethereum guy. That's what I know of. Okay, that's what I've been telling you for Ethereum. If you want to get a blockchain early, okay, you can still get Cosmos that I think is going to go up. Polkadot is a really good investment right now. It went down 10%, right? I think it's still down close to that. Let me tell you exactly where Polkadot is. And Polkadot, my man, that's a better investment right now. And if you're on crypto.com, you can stake it for 10 to 12.5%. Okay. Polkadot is down to $42.58. It's down 7.3%. Okay. So it's down 17% in the last week, and it is only up 2.6 in the last month. So right now you want to take advantage. That thing's gone down 17% and it's at $42. And a lot of these Polkadot is going to just, catapult, man. That's one that you can hang on to that I think is going to gain. It's going to make a Solana-like move. Solana's another great one, but it's already gone parabolic now. And it'll still go up, even though it's really not decentralized, which is kind of the the odd part about Solana. But anyway, Polkadot would be the one that I would look at, my brother. Okay? Not Ethereum, whatever the hell you're looking at there. Let's see. 855-912-1056 is the text line. What will convince fans that Flo and Greer should stay one more year? Zeus, I would imagine that they would have to run the table and get into the playoffs. Yeah, something like that. That could probably do it. I mean, running the table itself might force you to keep Flo. I mean, seriously. But come on, are they going to run the table? It's hard to imagine that with that line and that offense. Let's see, because the scary question is who is out there that's better and available. It's hard to get the ideal coach/GM. I don't think the GMs are going anywhere. So that's where I disagree with people. I don't think personnel is the issue here. I think the coaching is the offensive coaching specifically that he can't solve his offensive coordinator and his O-line coach. You can't keep changing him every year, and he's going to need to change him again this year. What's he going to do? Come back with the same people? Doesn't make any sense. And you can't trust him to find him. So I think he's just become that guy that's really difficult to get along with. There's a lot of Gase in him, and we didn't realize it in his first year because he won, just like we haven't realized it because he did such a terrific job his first 2 years while winning. But in the process, he was destroying relationships. I've never seen the things that I've watched on this team this year. I've never seen a player alienated by a head coach and then embraced by players and the greatest player in the history of the franchise. And you watch that meeting between those two, and I'm telling you, I'll put my life on it that Marino's telling him, kid, you hang in there, you stay straight, you stay positive, you're not the problem here. Okay? I am 1,000% sure that's what Marino was telling him. And I never saw Marino do that with Josh Rosen. I'm telling you, this is what I'm feeling with Flo. I think Flo's the guy that's kind of detached from everybody else. You know, it's kind of it's a faulty link to the blockchain. It's like the Dolphins are blockchain in sync, and then there's one thing that's effing everything up. Aaron Brito says, Big O, people don't think for themselves. I've said linebackers are the Achilles heel, just like our O-line. When they play well, we play well. Do we give up on finding OLs and linebackers in the draft and get veterans? I think you got to get a couple veterans next year. Well, they had veterans. The GM gave the coach the veterans, but then the coach didn't want the veterans. He wanted to go all young. So you can't do anything about that, dude. You know, that's why. So, Brito, I think there has to be a mix because it can't be all young, my brother. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm with you there. Big O, I got Lamar swoop up Cam Newton just because was offered Hollywood or Bateman plus Javonte Williams. Should I accept the trade? I got Lamar swooped up Cam just because I was offered Hollywood or Bateman plus Javonte Williams. Should I accept the trade? Okay, so you have Lamar and you scooped up Cam and you were offered Hollywood or Bateman plus Javonte Williams for who? For Lamar Jackson? Is that what you're saying? I mean, unless you have enough, I don't believe in Cam at all. So I don't even know if he'll keep his job. Be very careful with that one. Do not count on Cam all the way through the playoff, all the way into the fantasy playoffs. Cam Newton is not a good quarterback. He's a terrible passer. Always has been. Never has been accurate. So be very careful and be very afraid of these guys that have been away from football and then all of a sudden come back and they start taking a workload. And I know he's a freak of all freaks, but this is when the injuries happen. So I'm not sure. I would not trade Lamar, even though I'm not a big Lamar Jackson believer in reality, but in fantasy, take him, dude. They have no choice. They have to, and he runs like a deer, so he's going to score points. You know what I mean? So if I understand correctly, they're offering you those guys for Lamar, but you think you can trade Lamar because you got Cam. Ooh, that's a mistake. If that's how I'm understanding it, stay with Lamar. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? 4th and goal says, Big O, you are absolutely correct. I've been hearing about Chris Greer getting blamed for stuff that happened 15 years ago. This is a different regime. It's just, you don't blame him. You blame or credit him for the last 3 years. And dude, if you want to fire him for the last 3 years because you feel the offensive line isn't good enough or whatever else, or he hired Flo or whatever, then you're entitled to. Just don't tell me you're firing Greer because of what happened 4 years ago, 8 years ago, and 12 years ago. I don't care about that, and he wasn't in charge, and it's stupid. And I'm already going to, you're already going to lose me because your argument is senseless. There's nothing to it. There's no common sense. There's no intelligence to it. So I can't even have the discussion with somebody when they're blaming him for something 6 years ago. Can't do it. Now, you tell me you're not happy with his 3 years, you're entitled to that opinion. Okay? You tell me you're not happy what he did 8 years ago, I tell you don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's the difference. Pretty simple. That's all. Let's say, Big O, let's say they wanted Teddy Bridgewater, Tyrod Taylor, then settled for Fitzmagic, failure on Watson staying clean. The alternative was Tua, Jackson, Igbenogamy. You okay with that on Greer? We'll find out, right? First of all, dude, Teddy Bridgewater or Tyrod Taylor are not the answers. Okay. So, you sign Teddy Bridgewater, I tell you, you're going nowhere. You sign Tyrod Taylor, I tell you, you're going nowhere. So it doesn't really matter. So you got to go the other way. Okay? Teddy Bridgewater's a jag. Always has been. Phenomenal young man. So is Tyrod Taylor, by the way. Phenomenal young man. A jag. Neither one of them are legitimate franchise quarterbacks. You have those guys, you're not going anywhere. Okay? And I know Tyrod hasn't proven it enough, but Teddy Bridgewater has proven more than enough that his pop gun arm and lack of athleticism he has nothing about his game that tells you your offense is ever going to be explosive. Just not ever going to happen. Teddy is smart. He'll make the right throws, but he can't make all the throws. That's the difference. So he ends up being a check down Charlie pretty much throughout most of his career because he just doesn't have the athleticism or the arm to get it done. So going in those directions, I would have already told the Dolphins fans it's over. You got nothing there at quarterback. I love Teddy Bridgewater as a kid that you want him to marry your daughter, a guy you want to get to know, maybe a coach down the line, but and of course, obviously a high school college quarterback. But I never want him as my starting NFL quarterback, ever. In no way, shape, or form do I ever want to. Fitz is better than both those guys, even on his worst days when he's throwing interceptions. Fitz plays with more balls than both those guys, and he has more accuracy than both those guys. Okay? That's the other thing. Now, Fitz is going to turn over the ball. He's not the answer either. Don't get me wrong. But Fitz is definitely a better option than those two guys. And I still don't want either three of them. All three of them aren't going to take you anywhere. But Fitz is actually better than Tyrod Taylor and certainly Teddy Bridgewater. Oh, my God. Thanks, Big O. The offer is for Cam. Trade it. Oh, dude, that's a steal. Yes. I'm pulling the trigger and getting the wide receiver in Williams. Should I target Hollywood or Bateman? I would go Hollywood because he's more of the featured receiver than Bateman. Bateman is still young. So I'll go with the experience. Hollywood. That's who I would target. Chuck Cooper says fire them both. It's fine. I have no problem if that's how you feel. Big O getting triggered again. Yeah, well, it happens. 90 miles from Cuba says Lamar has been money in fantasy this year. No, fantasy, you want him. Fantasy, you want Lamar. I just don't want him in reality. I don't understand why Flo isn't 100% sold on Tua. Didn't his time with Belichick teach him the importance of building around your star? Well, look at what Belichick's done. Belichick built a line so Mac Jones can throw the ball. Belichick has 87 running backs so Mac Jones can throw the ball. Belichick went and got 2 tight ends. Now, both haven't been healthy the entire time. One's been healthy, one hasn't, all that, but still to help his quarterback. And he's got the receivers. And then he's got also Josh McDaniels, right? And a good offensive line coach. So he's given, I watched him this week and I told you the kid threw dimes. But he gets to drop back. He's got a clean pocket. He gets to step into it. All the things that Tua can't do. And I'm watching that game and I'm going, I can take him out and I can put Tua in that same spot with a fractured finger and make all the same throws that Mac Jones did. Because it didn't require you to throw 150 miles an hour. It just required accuracy and anticipation. Mac Jones has it, and I know Tua has it. But I watched it, and it was like, it's beautiful because Belichick was smart. If you're going to draft Tua, build the wall of Montezuma. If you're going to draft Tua, make sure you have a power running game. If you're going to draft Tua, have a great offensive line coach to protect your damn quarterback. If you're going to draft Tua, have an offensive coordinator that knows how to complement him and knows exactly what he likes to do and play to his strengths, not weaknesses. Common sense. And that's where you got to give Belichick credit. He did what he needed to help his young quarterback succeed. The Miami Dolphins did not do what their quarterback needed in order to succeed. Okay? Hey, one legitimate knock on Greer, too many injured receivers, bro. Too many injured receivers. You can't do that anymore. That's definitely a legit knock that I would have on the personnel department. Devontae Parker, get the hell out of here. Will Fuller, get the hell out of here. Albert Wilson, get the hell out of here. Who's the other? Preston Williams, get the hell out of here. Enough already. No more injured guys. They are what they are, man. That I would say, but I'm not firing for that. Just got to fix that part. Daniel Grafton says, Crypto.com has a lot of coins you can stake, but man, they ask you to stake a lot in order to get crypto to earn 250 Matic, 500 vet minimum. My God. Well, I mean, but, build up, Daniel. Get to that point till you get to 250 Matics. And right now is the time to load up on the Matics as much as you can. I get it, dude. If you just started, it looks like a lot for you right now. But slowly but surely, you build it up and you'll get there. And then once you get there, you can start to stake and then you can earn. Okay? But, slowly, bro. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to just, dollar cost average. Every week you get paid, every 2 weeks you get paid or whatever. You put a couple bucks on the side and you buy a couple of stocks and you keep building it up and building up. Every 2 weeks you take advantage of where the market is at and where there's a down. And then you buy that dip, buy that dip, buy that dip. That's what you do, man. And then slowly but surely, and eventually you'll get to the 250 Matics, and then you'll be able to start staking. And you're good. So it's all patience, man. But thank you for the super chat, Daniel. I appreciate you immensely, sir. Thank you. Tua is strong in his own skin, still needs a good backup QB next year. I would bring in Fitz back as his backup if he would be willing. Well, he had a hip injury now at his age. I don't know if he's going to come back. That's the thing. He's up there, dude. At this point, those injuries, he's got a beautiful family, big family. He might be better off retiring already. He's made a lot of money. Let's see. What else do we have? Small O gets triggered every time Omar and Poupar say something about Tua. Yes, exactly. I get all triggered. You are correct, sir. Will Fuller with that fake injury stealing money. Yeah, Will Fuller is just God. I really thought he wanted I thought he was motivated to come and get it done, but his his body just can't hold up, bro. The Pats actually should be 7-3 if not for that last second fluke with the Finns. They actually are still years ahead of the Finns, even in rebuilding. Well, they didn't rebuild. They have plenty of pieces that were already there. So that's not a rebuild, dude. They only replaced the quarterback. A lot of the pieces have been there already. So apples and oranges. Don't compare what Miami did to what New England's doing. New England had a lot of their players already in place. Why do you think Baptist Health sponsored the practice facility? The most injured team gives them great ROI. That's pretty good. Big O, you really need to stop making sense. That's what Mike says. You are correct. Dr. J says, Big O, that's why Manny Diaz is losing to FIU. Such an indictment of Manny. Bad coaching, losing to a team who can't afford pads or uniforms. Shaking my head. That is pretty pathetic. And you lost to Butch Davis, which is the other thing. Anthony Campbell says, Big O, hey, man, 2-0 at Sports Grill Bird Road location. Is it superstition? I don't know what it is, Anthony, but I'll take it. And hopefully we're 3-0 at Bird Road this Sunday. So please come on out to Sports Grill at Bird Road, 114th and Bird Road. We are 2-0, baby, at Bird Road. Let's pack it in. Let's have some fun. Let's go 3-0. It's a new season for us at Bird Road, right? That's the way we're going to look at it, all right? We're going for another undefeated season. That's what we're doing at Bird Road. So we're going for 3-0, beat the Jets. So come on out and join us. Have a couple cold ones. Have some delicious wings. Come on, man. Join us. So listen, Thursday, we're at Hialeah Park, 10-1. Friday, we're at Caneswear, 10-1. Davie. And then Sunday, we're in Miami, Sports Grill, Bird Road at 114th, right off the Turnpike. Literally right off the Turnpike. It's like 3 blocks east of the Turnpike exit. So join us, man. Undefeated, baby. Come enjoy a Dolphin game at the perfect place to watch it. Sports Grill and Bird Road and 114th. Love it. Big O, what do you think about Flores bringing in Marvin Lewis as assistant head coach to help the coaching staff? Chris L., that's not going to happen. Flo's not going to bring anybody in to take any orders from or suggestions from. He's smarter than everybody else. And you need an offensive staff, my man. Marvin Lewis is a defensive-minded coach. If there's one thing I do like about Flo, that he knows defense. So he can be a defensive coordinator. But Marvin Lewis doesn't help you where you really need it, and that's offense. So that's the problem with that one. Vince McMahon is the next Dolphins owner. If only, right? That would be interesting. That would make it a lot of fun, even though the Dolphins' next owner is already in place. As most of you know, because sometimes people are like, oh, I want him to sell. And it's like, he already sold the team, dude. Do you know that? Like, do you follow it? You know, there's a lot of fans that don't realize that your next owner is already in place. It's his partner. So, what are you going to do? By the way, Manny Navarro will join us in hour number 3. So we'll have a little fun with Manny. We'll talk a little Canes. Panthers are back in action tonight, 7 o'clock, to take on the Islanders. Let's do this. Let's take a break here. We're at the top of the hour. Get ready for hour number 3, the final hour. And I want to talk a little Dolphins when I come back, because I'll tell you why I'm really psyched about this game on Sunday. We'll get to that when we come back right here on the Big O Radio Show. And the executive producer is the one and only Sean Stanley.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. The views and statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. Time to have a little fun and rock and roll on the show. Hope you all are doing well. You know, it's funny because I'm watching the chat board, and once in a while you see something that catches your eye, And I see a guy named Ian North. He says, hopefully the Panthers don't get bounced in the first round again. And it's like, it's one of those things like fans say, and like it's an incredibly lazy statement because they faced the Lightning, which won the Stanley Cup. And really, they played them tougher than almost anybody else in the playoffs. I think Carolina, I want to say they might have won one more game, but I mean, the Panthers were right there with the Lightning in that series. They played them really, really tough, and the Lightning are the best team on the damn planet. And they were the best team on the damn planet going into that series last year. You know what I mean? So really, what you're supposed to say, Ian, if you want to at least sound intelligent, is, I hope the Panthers don't face the Lightning in the first round so we can see if they can make a run. That's a little bit more realistic because they're actually a really good team. And being beaten by the Lightning 4-2, it was not an embarrassment by any stretch. Only Ian looks at it that way, that you lose 4-2 to what is the best team in the entire world, the Tampa Bay Lightning. But Ian, you go ahead and continue to show your lack of knowledge in hockey. You know what I mean? Sometimes if you don't know what you're talking about, you're probably better off not saying anything. I'm just saying. That's all. Just saying. You're probably better off. Big O, sorry, I had a typo in my message. I meant Lewis to find assistant coaches. I got you. But he's not going to do that. He's not. That guy's not. His offensive coordinator last year told him Tua's not ready yet. No, I want to start him anyways against the Rams. Your O-line can't block. You can't really run the ball in a dominating fashion. But no, let's start our rookie quarterback who the offensive coordinator tells you he's not ready, but we want to start him anyways, and we want to start him against the Rams. Why not? I mean, he's only fresh off hip surgery. What could happen? Michael Brockers slamming him to the ground? Way to go, Flo. Yes, Troy, by the way, I was able to watch the Squid Game, and I've watched 3 episodes so far. Yeah, it's a really screwed up game. It's a really screwed up show. I've only watched 3 episodes. I have not finished it whatsoever. Okay. But I'll tell you this is what I do laugh at. That at Sports Grill, every week that we go to Sports Grill, whether it's Miami Lakes or now Bird Road, and Sean is my witness, we have a machine that, that thing that the crane that goes down and grabs it. And remember that he had and that was it the second episode or the first episode? It might have been the second episode, that he wanted to take his daughter out, but he lost all the money and all that. And he had to go get, he kept trying to get a prize, and he used a kid to get the prize for her and all that stuff. Well, every time I see somebody play that machine next to me at Sports Grill, I think of the Squid Game, and I think of that guy. So, yeah, I watched it. It is an effed up game, bro. It's an effed up show, period. Squid Games were okay, but they are planning season 2. That's a failure waiting to happen. I haven't finished season 1, so I don't even know how season 1 ends. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. I'm the wrong person to ask. I have to finish out the season. I just didn't binge it to watch the whole season. But I know that they approved season 2. Radically says, would have rather had a big running back than 5 tight ends. There are several rookie running backs that were available in the 3rd round and are doing well on other teams. Well, Radically, I guess the coach didn't really need a running back. No, give me a tight end. Give me my guy from Boston College. Yeah. Yep. And notice how New England did the 2 tight end things, and he's trying to do the 2 tight end thing. So, just saying. That's why if I'm Greer and company, I fire Flo and his staff, and I go hire another coach that's not going to F with me a lot on personnel. Okay? Because I don't believe Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, and Reggie McKenzie need a lot of help in deciding what players to pick. I think they don't need another voice in that room. And that's where the Dolphins, I would say, made a mistake in their last two coaching hires. They gave Gase too much power, and they've given Flo too much power. Okay? They made a big mistake there. And you got to stop doing that because coaches don't deserve that kind of power until they've earned it. And Gase and Flo had never gotten to that point that they earned the right to have that much power in personnel. And that's a problem for the Miami Dolphins. The personnel people aren't the problem. It's the guy that thinks he's a coach, a personnel director, a defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator, a special teams guy. He thinks he does it all. That's why he got everybody young, so he can manipulate everybody and control everybody and do what he wants. He doesn't want a Chan Gailey that will think for himself and tell you, no, you're wrong. Tua shouldn't play. He doesn't want to hear that. I mean, it's obvious. Look what's going on. Just watch it. You can tell. Let's see. What's it called? Why isn't Hunter Long playing? Is he even on the game day roster? No, he's always inactive. I don't know what Flo was thinking. I have no idea what he wants to do with his Boston College boy. I thought he was going to play right away. And then he got injured, but I thought he would then get on the field once that was over. You know? What can I tell you, my brother? It's a frustrating thing going on with the Dolphins. It just is. There's a lot of frustrations going on. Najee Harris ain't doing all that great? Really? Let's see how good Najee Harris is, my brother. Since he's not doing all that great, right? Okay, let's see what we got here on stats for Najee Harris. Najee Harris so far for the Steelers has 176 attempts, 646 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, so just under 4. He's got 4 touchdowns. He also has 44 receptions for 317 yards. So that means he's on pace for over 600 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. So my man has 6 touchdowns, nearly 1,000 yards from scrimmage. We're halfway through the season, and he's not doing well. So a running back that's on pace for 1,300 yards rushing and 600 yards receiving. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't know that, 2,000 yards practically of yards is not good enough combined in a season. I had no idea. I didn't know the standard was like 4,000 or 5,000 now. So a rookie running back approaching 2,000 yards of total offense for the year. He's on pace for that. And that's not that good. Okay. As I like to say to people, do you watch the games? So I run into that a lot. Do you watch the games? Do you just comment on stuff? Do you just pull it out of your ass and just throw it out there and no, he's not doing so good. He's only on pace for almost 2,000 total yards. Yeah, no. I mean, what do we have? 3 backs like that on the roster right now for the Miami Dolphins? Why would we need Najee to be a 4th guy to produce nearly 2,000 yards of offense? I mean, it's just nobody needs it. Mike No-Go Zone says, let's go Islanders. We'll be in attendance tonight. Well, I'm happy for you, Mike, that you'll be in attendance, but I hope your Islanders lose by 87 goals. Okay? Just want you to know that. I love you, but I hope you lose by 87 goals. Just saying. Oh, some cats just can't even see with their eyes open. Emilio, I'm with you. Joel Vargas says it's most frustrating when the small hate campaign on Flores is not working. I know, isn't it? It's terrible, bro. Ian says, Big O, I wanted Javonte Williams, and he's not doing too bad. I mean, any of the two guys, Carter too, or he's half decent. Roy from St. Louis says if Harris is still averaging 3.7 yards with the Steelers, he would be averaging about 2.2 yards with the Finns. Yeah, but it wouldn't be his fault. That is now, Roy. I've made that point in the past too, which you're 1,000% right. Or let me just say, maybe you and I are 1,000% right. But I've also said that you could draft a running back, but behind this line, you're not going to succeed a lot. So he's right about that. But still, Najee Harris is still doing good. Maybe not for that guy, but he's doing pretty good, bro. Nyborg says, and Najee Harris is playing behind an O-line that has 3 rookies starting coaching is making a difference. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro. You know what I mean? We're not, Pittsburgh Steelers are a much better franchise, my brother. Top to bottom. They've been a much better franchise than the Dolphins for 50 years. Okay? Dolphins were hanging with them for a couple of decades, but they like surpassed them. They finished the race like by, the horse race they finished by like 80 lengths. James Burke says, after Miami wins Thursday, I really feel we were going to go on a run. Our schedule has gotten a lot easier. You got Raiders looking like the Raiders, Browns, and Bengals not playing well. Tua really woke up. Well, it's that Flo needs to wake up, not Tua. Tua's not the problem, bro. Big O, fact is, it's more desirable to pick a stud D lineman than a running back. It would be nice if they can just get an O-line coach first so they can build an O-line, and then you'll be able to develop running backs anyway. I don't care if you find them in the first round, in the third round, in the 7th round, street free agency. You just go build a line, and you'll make any running back serviceable. You know what I mean? You get a star back, and then he becomes a monster, obviously. So, was Jalen Waddle worth the 2 first-round picks? Jalen Waddle is worth the draft pick, okay? There's no doubt in my mind that he's worth the draft pick. He's not the problem, all right? Jalen Waddle, all he does is get first downs for this team and make plays, but they don't have an offense, so you're never going to find him downfield. I love how people look at Jalen Waddle like he's a problem when he's only doing what he can do in a limited offense. Jalen Waddle is not the issue, dude. He's a stud, and so is Mike Gesicki. These are 2 Pro Bowl-like players playing on a garbage offense. That's what it is. They are having success in spite of these losers. The way you have to look at it is, it shows me that Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki are even better than what they look. That's what it tells me. That these guys can be stars for your team if you actually had a real offensive coordinator, a real offensive line with a real offensive line coach, and a running game to boot. Big O, Le'Veon Bell had over 2,000 yards from scrimmage in 2014. Yeah, but that's not good, Jeremy. Don't you? We have a listener there that is telling us that 2,000 yards from scrimmage is not that good, especially for a rookie. It's not really that impressive. It's not impressive if you're on pace for 1,300 yards on the ground and 600 yards in the air, bro. It's just, Jeremy, it's not. I did not know this, but we're all learning that apparently 2,000 yards of combined, offense for a running back is not good enough anymore. I didn't know that. I'm learning something every day now. I had no idea that you have to have at least 3,000 to 4,000 yards of total offense if you're a running back. These are things that I'm learning right now. I've been enlightened on this today. 2,000 yards, not good enough. It's, So when you see Najee Harris and you tell him, hey, Najee, that's all. Just say, you got to do better, bro. What's 2,000, Najee? Let's go, bro. Pick it up. We need 4,000. If Hunter Long can get it together, this will be an even better draft. I like Larnell Coleman and his 36 and a quarter inch arms. That's crazy. Yeah, but he hasn't shown jack squat with those arms. Maybe he could develop into something. He's too young still, so whatever. But I have, Larnell Coleman may not be the guy you want to bring up in the draft. It's unethical for someone in the media to use a source like that without disclosing at least that he has an unnamed source inside the organization. Huh? Don, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Put down the drink. Explain exactly what we're doing. And by the way, first of all, you want me to be ethical and you consider me media? Oh, come on. That's just wrong. No, but really explain. I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. Sometimes if you want to tell me something that I'm doing wrong, at least tell me exactly what I'm doing wrong. Remember, I'm talking a lot and I'm going through one thing after another. And so it just flows, dude. Anything over 1,000 yards rushing is great. No, it's not, Lucky You. No. Sorry, dude. Apparently, we have listeners that feel you need at least 2,000 yards rushing and another 1,000 at least in receiving, maybe 1,500. 3,000, 3,500 yards. That becomes acceptable, apparently. But 1,900 to 2,000 yards, that's. Hey, Najee. Big O, is Preston and Parker busted? Oh, yeah. Definitely. And Preston also got busted for not knowing squat about crypto, too. Daddy Dean says, especially when 17 games, 2,000 yards won't work. You're right. I love it, Daddy Dean. Good stuff, brother. Big O, decent coaching staff would have solved this O-line. Amen to that, sir. But we can't find a decent O-line coach. Tua's finger did seem fractured. He had trouble on his first few throws. Jimmy, do you think he was lying about a fractured finger? Did you come up with some conspiracy theory? Oh, Tua's lying about a finger. No. I saw him. He slammed it. He got a door and slammed his finger. He broke it himself. He doesn't want to play. He wants to sabotage flow in the season. Oh, Lordy. I wonder why Tua's bones are so brittle. I wonder if he can take some supplements to increase his bone health. No, radically, he's just normal like you and me. Okay? That's the problem. You can't be. See, those guys that stay healthy, they're not normal. Radically. Okay? You got to understand that. See, you and I and the rest of us that are watching, if we played that game, we would be Tua. We would be Will Fuller. We would be a sack of injuries. We would be breaking down left and right. It's the people that stay healthy. Those people aren't normal. Understand that radically. Those people are abnormal. Okay? Brett Favre was abnormal. For a long time, Cam Newton was abnormal. You're not supposed to stay healthy being involved in 20 car accidents every week on a football field. Because it's kind of the equivalent of some of these collisions. You end up like it was a car accident, and you're having several of them in a game. So radically turn it the other way around, dude. What Tua's going through, or Will Fuller, or Devontae Parker, that's what normal human beings would go through playing that game. Okay? The people like Marino that play all the way through and they don't even fix their Achilles and continue to play, those people aren't normal. They're not normal. Telling you, Larry Zonka, not normal. It took a toe injury to stop that guy. That's just not normal. Big O, do you do any crypto consulting? No. I am not a consultant. I am not an advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. I do it as a hobby. I'm a sports talk show host, and I just happen to like crypto. So no, I am not doing any kind of consulting. I will tell you what I like to do, what I would do with my money. You guys do whatever you want with your money. You study, you do your own homework. I don't want to do any of that. Okay? I don't want to be responsible for anything. I am not responsible for anything you do with your money. No. I would not want to do that. Okay? And I think I've given, pretty damn good advice here for like 9 months overall. I'm telling you the things that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And if it's gone well for me, then obviously it's got to be going really well for all of you out there. Okay? So I don't want to get into any kind of, that's not who I am, and I don't want to do that. The last thing, no. That's why I always tell you guys, I always preface it by saying, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys do what you want. I'm just telling you what I would do. This is what I like to do. This is what I'm doing. And if I lose my money, well, then I lost my money. But up to you guys, you got to do your own homework. You know what I mean? So, Kevin Lee, thank you, sir, for a little love on the super chat. He says, Big O, still a possibility. We will be going 7-7 into the Monday night game versus New Orleans, and the AFC is wide open. So the 7th seed is possible. Never say never. No, I agree with you, but running the table means you're going to win 9 straight games. That's just, come on, man. We're getting ahead of ourselves big time. Only 1-2 straight. You know what I'm saying? So got to slow down a little bit. Big O, who wins a champ first, Canes or Dolphins? Oh, Dolphins, of course. Yeah, the Canes aren't spending. So until they spend, I'm not going to believe that they're going to ever win anything again. Big O, I do agree with you choosing Waddle over Sewell in the draft. I mean, they could use a lineman too. You couldn't go bad with a lineman. But I have no problem with Waddle. I don't think Waddle's our problem. He stays healthy, by the way, folks. Not only does he play, not only does that kid just make play after play after play and move the chains and keep your damn drives alive, he's out there every week. Unlike Devontae Parker and Will Fuller and Albert Wilson and Preston Williams, who are all unreliable, this kid's reliable. This is a tough sumbitch. I like this kid. I like him a lot, man. The more I see Waddle, the more I love the kid. I just know he's caught up in a garbage-ass offense. How do you feel about one of Shula's boys coming to Miami? Just asking. And Jalen Waddle's a beast. We suck. Well, our coaches suck. Hello. That's what it is, bro. Our coaches suck. You think about Mike Shula as an offensive coordinator is what you're saying? I mean, I wouldn't mind Shula as an offensive coordinator, not a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, yeah. But it's got to be, maybe a guy like mentioned yesterday to Omar that Reggie McKenzie knows Jack Del Rio, and Jack did a good job in Oakland. They went to the playoffs and everything. They had no reason to fire any of those guys at that moment and bring in Gruden and all that crap. Actually, they were headed in the right direction, those guys. And so they blew all those guys out. I think you need a guy like Jack Del Rio, an experienced head coach that knows a boatload of assistants and can bring in those kind of assistants, or will work with the front office. And maybe if you can find your own, like a Joe Brady that left LSU and went to Carolina, if you can find a up and coming coordinator like that to work under Jack, and then Jack can definitely find a grizzled, offensive line coach, and he can find all the other pieces. He knows defense, so he can find a defensive coordinator, all of that. Get a coach like that. I'm not telling you to exactly get Jack Del Rio, but I threw that name out because Reggie McKenzie is part of the personnel staff for the Dolphins, and he knows Jack Del Rio. And so but I think you need something like that. You need an experienced coach who then can build a staff. That's what I think you need, something along those lines. And we'll find out who's available. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little Blake James, a little University of Miami football, what's going on with Manny Diaz. And we do that with Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. That is next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty. Time to talk a little Canes. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Manny Navarro. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And more importantly, catch his work there at The Athletic like I do every single day. Manny, the bomb was dropped yesterday, my brother.
Yes, it was.
They eliminated Blake James, and it's a good move. Is it the first of two moves, do you think, this offseason?
Well, it certainly looks that way right now, Big O, because I would imagine whatever athletic director comes in here or is in the process of being hired would be somebody who would want to bring in his own football coach, right? I mean, the mission here is to restore Miami to a place where it was a long time ago and get it back to competing. People in the administration have told me that this is a business and they want to run the athletic department as a business. And right now, as a business, it's failing. It is not living up to expectations. So my guess is, yes, it's inevitable that that's going to happen. Could it not? Is there any chance that Manny Diaz keeps his job at this point? Sure. I think if he finishes the season strong, Miami finishes the year with 3 blowouts. I don't think, you necessarily fire him right away. If they win their last 3 games and show drastic improvement. I know that there are a lot of players invested that he's recruited the last 2 cycles that they want to keep around here. And if you fire Manny Diaz right now or a week from now, that puts you in a precarious position. It opens the door for other schools to come in and pluck those guys. So I think Manny Diaz sees at least the end of the regular season. That's what I was told yesterday. And I think that his performance and the team's performance over the next 2 to 3 games will have a say in that. But yes, you're asking me long-term what I think happens. I think the next athletic director probably wants to hire a new football coach.
Okay, so and I got to see it. I still got to see it to believe it.
Right.
Because I got to see the proper changes that you need to make. And one of them is what you're just talking about right now. If I see a new AD come in and say, well, I'm going to address the head coaching position over the next year. I'm going to see what Manny does and this and that. Happen. If that happens, then that's the administration once again saying, yeah, we're too cheap to pay off 2 years, so let's wait another year before we make the changes. That'll be strike number one in me not believing that they really want to make a change.
Correct. And I could see you saying that. At the same time, too, I think you want to hire the right guy. You want to hire the guy that's going to come in here. You don't want to hire another guy who's going to come in here and fail. So I think that if Mario Cristobal or Lane Kiffin, if Miami's serious about spending money, right, if that's really what they are, and they're swinging for the fences and they do what they need to do to get one of those two guys here to replace Manny, and it's possible, then I think, they pull the trigger and they make that happen. But if there's no good coaches available in their minds, or the athletic director feels like, hey, Mario's going to stay at Oregon and Lane's going to stay at Mississippi or jump to another job in the SEC that pays them more money, and we can't meet that standard, then maybe they keep Manny.
And Miami doesn't have money to compete with Ole Miss anyways.
You would think so, based on history.
They have the money, but I shouldn't say that. They have the money, but they've never shown that they'd be willing to spend the kind of money that it would take to take away an SEC coach. Let me not just say Ole Miss, an SEC coach.
Correct. And what I was told and what I reported, 3 weeks ago now was that Miami ultimately said they were going to spend money. Right. That's what I said. That's what they sought out to say, that they were serious about making this thing right, and supposedly made a lot of money off of UHealth. Right. And this is a business. They view this as three businesses: academics, the medical business, and the athletic business. And the third business right now is not cashing any checks. Right. So and listen, the way everything was shaping up at that point of that meeting, it totally made sense that Blake would be the first to go, because if you're going to do this right, you need the next athletic director to make the hire, not a bunch of guys who aren't athletic directors.
Blake failed already in his attempt to get the coach. Now, he had limitations. So here we go again. And I talked about this earlier on the show. I don't want anybody telling me that Kim Eng isn't doing a good job until I know that Kim Eng has a checkbook. If you don't give that woman a checkbook, don't ever tell me that she's doing a good job or a bad job, because in baseball, if you can't spend, you can't win, dude. I'm sorry, you're not going to do it.
At best, you're the Tampa Bay Rays, if that's the case.
Right. Or you're hoping for 2003 Marlins or whatever it was, 2015 Royals. Right. That you're hoping for lightning in a bottle, that you get a whole bunch of young guys to have career years, and then the team disappears, right? That's like, and you know how rare it is that I can only come up with those two examples, actually. Outside of that, everybody else had to spend money, and that's why the Rays and the A's end up falling short, because, Theo Epstein said, I like that money ball, but I'm going to add money to the money ball, and then I'm going to win. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, okay, so people start talking, Gino Torretta, this and that, and whatever. I don't care what AD you hire. Are you going to give this AD the checkbook? Because if you don't give him him or her the checkbook to buy the coach, the OC, and the DC, we're just spinning wheels, dude. That's all we're doing.
And I'll guarantee you that Mario Cristobal and Lane Kiffin wouldn't come here unless they're guaranteed that they're going to get that kind of money. So if they don't come here, it could be that they're just not given everything that they need. But again, I repeat what I was told, though, from somebody in the administration: money will not be an issue. That's what they said. We'll see if that lives up to be true or not.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think Cristobal would be a moron to leave Oregon and Nike money for anything, because he has the easiest road to a championship if he just takes care of business every year in the Pac-12.
Absolutely.
And dominates. He'll be in the playoffs every year, but you can't go losing to some of these teams like Washington or whatever, like he's done. And that's why you're out of the race. And that's why the Pac-12 will be out of the race. And if you're Lane Kiffin, you're not leaving the SEC for the University of Miami. But I'll tell you this, I'm looking at Luke Fickell in Cincinnati, and that guy's actually doing one hell of a job at that place. That might be more of the realistic type of guy that you can get, instead of the two guys that are already in terrific positions right now and making a boatload of money, and the buyouts alone for those guys are going to be absolutely brutal. And if I'm correct, I believe Luke Fickell is coming up for his deal. I think he either has 1 year left or it's done this year, if I'm correct.
I don't have his contract in front of me. I'd have to look at it again. Look at what all the numbers of all these coaches. But essentially, the bigger thing here for Miami is there's a lot of other schools with head coach openings right now. USC and LSU, right? Those are two prime jobs that you would say they'll get the first pick over Miami because they have on-campus stadiums.
They spend more money, and
they spend more money. Right? All those other factors that come into play. So if Miami's going to do this, they're really going to have to spend to land a high quality coach. And Virginia Tech, obviously, they threw up the white flag today and said that's it. We got to enter, firing their coach Justin Fuente. So there's going to be a lot of musical chairs in college football here in the next few weeks and months ahead. And whoever takes over this AD job for Miami, if he's going to make the coaching change, he's going to have to be aggressive and he's going to have to work fast because the opportunities are going to be limited as far as quality, proven head coaches that can come down here and get the job done.
So who's the quality, proven athletic director that they need to hire?
Well, with Miami ties, I mean, Clemson's AD, Radakovich, has Miami ties. So, you could always say, hey, go out there and steal Clemson's AD. That's one way to beat them in the ACC, right? But beyond that, I mean, all of these guys that it's not like there's big AD jobs, big name ADs everywhere. They're only as good as who backs them financially, each and every single one of them. So I think from a Miami perspective, one guy that I've heard over the years has always had interest in it was Gino Toretto because, he is a business guy. He does work in the business world and has at least that experience. He's obviously, national champion, Heisman Trophy winner. He's the kind of guy that I think would, from a never having done the job before perspective, but at least knowing Miami and knowing the business world, he's somebody I would consider if you don't already have a proven AD that you can bring.
Yeah,
in.
but I know Gino. He's going to say, "Are you going to give me a checkbook? If you're not going to give me a checkbook, I'm not taking his job."
Correct.
Gino's no dummy. Okay.
No.
Now let me run it. Let me run a name. I don't know the name actually.
Mm-hmm.
Who's in charge at UCF? That guy's
I don't know either now because of all the shuffling that was going on there with coaches and whatnot. I forget the name of the coach there. The other one was the FAU AD, Mike something.
Yeah,
I mentioned him.
But the guy at UCF has done a monster job.
Right.
Job. I mean, they put their football team on the map. They got a stadium, on campus stadium.
No, he's a good.
Their athletic program overall is actually pretty good.
Yes. I mean, in the end, all of this again comes down to how are you going to empower this guy? What are you going to surround him with, right? What kind of resources? Miami previously was discussing creating a football sort of czar position for Alonzo Highsmith, right? With all the experience that he has as a scout, let him be in charge of the football program. I don't know how that plays in with the new athletic director because every athletic director, they take a job because of the football program. That's the moneymaker. And if they're not going to be in charge of the football program, then maybe you go off into another sort of area of how you work this out. Maybe you don't need to hire a big name athletic director and you just have Alonzo Highsmith be the football czar and hire somebody who's going to be a good complement to him. But that takes a special person who's willing to let somebody else handle football. So it's complicated, man. I don't know where they're at. I know this. I know they want to try to make the decision quickly. There's 2 weeks left in the regular season. Kids are going to start to enter the transfer portal. Everybody's wondering if Manny's going to keep his job. That's going to hurt recruiting more than it's already hurt it, right? Yeah, the losses. Right. So all of those things play a factor.
I don't worry about that because keeping Manny around is hurting you, period, anyway. Because he can't coach, it doesn't really matter. So to me, you got to make this change. And whatever Band-Aid you've got to rip off, and if a couple players are part of that Band-Aid, it is what it is. But if you get the right coach, that coach is going to load you up with all kinds of players. And by the way, maybe they just go right up to Jacksonville and say, hey, Herb, come on down.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that whole incident in the bar, man.
They definitely would not do that.
I don't think they would do that.
Well, there's lots of bars that Herb could park his fingers at. I'm sorry. Just go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be an interesting few weeks here. As far as the FSU loss, we haven't even talked about that at all. I don't know if you care to, but man,
No. It's just, I mean, it's
just
just
again,
it
it's
is
just a
what it is,
typical,
but it is just,
yeah,
you know.
typical finish flop at the end for him.
Yeah, yeah. 4 billion mistakes, 4th and 14, whatever. I mean, what are we going to hammer out the same thing that it's just a poor coaching staff? And, you know, it was a nice little run for 3 weeks. The sun shines on every dog's ass every once in a while, and it shined on us for a couple of weeks, and we eked out a couple of wins there. We had some fun. The fun's over. That's it, and finally the administration said, yeah, it's over. Let's start this process already as it is. So in a way, from what I'm deciphering from what you're talking about, either you think they're going to work quickly on this, or you're suggesting that the University of Miami needs to work quickly on getting their AD before the season wraps up, before these bowl games are played, so you're already on the march for your coach. Correct?
Yeah, I think all of it goes hand in hand. You want that guy to be a part of the coaching search, or at least works well with the coach that you're going to hire, right? They have to have a good relationship. They have to be on the same page, just like NFL GMs and coaches, right? Or it has to be sort of a perfect marriage. So whoever, they look for, or whoever they end up landing, I think the faster, the better. And my understanding is they want to work swiftly on this, because football ultimately is what the business is run on. It's not Jim Laranaga's basketball team. It's not whatever's going on with the baseball team. It is football. That is what pays the bills over there. That is what could take off if they ever got it right.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And by the way, on the chat board, they really want to know, are you in the bathroom? Are you sitting on a toilet or something? Because it kind of looks like a bathroom that you're at. No. That's why. And it does.
I'm in a
and
Starbucks.
There's a little bit of an echo too. So
I apologize. Yes.
So everybody's going like, is he on a toilet or something right now?
I'm at a Starbucks, dude. I'm at a Starbucks. So there you go.
See, you
My
all
house is
have
under construction, man.
You all had him on the porcelain throne, and he wasn't there. He's at Starbucks. See, people have twisted minds. If I take a break longer than 2 minutes, they think I'm taking a dump. It's amazing. I come back, and on the chat board, it's he's taking another dump. He's there. It's like, dude,
the mind wanders.
I'm just relaxing for 2 minutes, resting the voice. You know what I mean? It's not like we take 30 minutes of commercial breaks like they do in other places. We actually talk here. We actually give you content here. That's kind of the idea of all of this, is content, not commercials. You know what I'm saying? But it's just funny, man. It's just funny. All right. So you got him winning this week at least?
I think so. I mean, Virginia Tech's got the coaching upheaval, right, in terms of this week, the coach literally getting fired midweek.
Yeah.
I would assume that would be a little bit of a distraction for him. And Virginia Tech offensively isn't that great. So they're not facing some sort of juggernaut who's going to light up the scoreboard. They're a decent team on defense, but I think Miami at home senior day, I do think they're going to play for those guys. They have all season, right? There's no quitting.
Yeah, they have.
So why would they do it now? Right.
Yeah, they make
still get a bowl game
and all that, but they play hard. You're right about that. He hasn't lost the team.
This isn't the Florida Gators who just decided to play flag football last Saturday.
Yeah. That coach, man, that guy.
That's another job opening. Think about it. What's a more attractive job, Big O, Miami or Florida?
Oh, Florida by miles. On
campus stadium. That makes all the difference.
No, and they'll spend like crazy, dude.
Yep.
I mean, they will spend. That's the thing. We don't have any history of spending, unfortunately. And in today's college world, we have to spend money in order to win and get the best coaches. So, Florida is definitely the sexier job. I don't know if they're going to fire the idiot. I know I would, because, wow, man, I'm more bothered by the things he says, actually, and the way he thinks.
A lot of arrogance.
Stuff. Yeah, dude, and there's a lot of ignorance too in some of his stuff too, and arrogance and ignorance. It's just crazy. All right, follow him on Twitter, Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at the Athletic, and catch him twice a week here with the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report. He'll be back on Friday. Manny, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Anytime. Not in the bathroom, folks. Not in the bathroom.
You got it. There you go. Although Starbucks will make you go to the bathroom when it's all said and done. That's what it's all about. That's your Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right, we're back. We're back. One guy's asking me, Saxman J. Will, I think it says there, says, Big O, what do you think about Rex Ryan as the Hurricanes' next coach? No. I wouldn't want Rex Ryan anywhere part of any organization at this point. Okay. He's got a foot fetish. I mean, that's just it's not a good thing, you know. It's just not a good thing. You can't have coaches with foot fetishes. You know, they're in the locker room and they're just focused on feet all the time and not really paying attention to the players and addressing them. You just can't do that with Rex Ryan. No, I'm not a Rex Ryan guy, to be honest with you. He's a defensive coordinator. That I will say, but I wouldn't want him as a head coach. And he doesn't know jack squat about recruiting, and he hasn't gone through that. No, man, you need somebody that's been there and done it and knows what the hell he's doing. That's what you got to do. Get yourself a good AD. Give that AD the power that person needs, the money, the checkbook. Okay? I still need to see it before I believe it because they've never spent, man. And I want to see it, you know. I want to see it. I want to see them fire Manny because I've told you I don't think Manny – I think they'll hang on to Manny one more year. So I still don't believe that they'll release Manny. Okay? I'm telling you, I'm in complete denial with the University of Miami. Until they actually show me that they want to spend money, show me that they're serious about their coaching staff, then I'll believe it. And I hope it happens, man. I pray it happens because I am tired of watching what I've been watching with the University of Miami. And to be honest with you, I don't look forward to being the team from the 70s again when I was a kid. That, you know, it wasn't any good. And if you got the 9 wins, that was like a phenomenal year. You ended up in the Peach Bowl or the Gator Bowl. Oh, my God. That's like getting into a national championship game. That's how it used to be. That's where you're at now. That you're going to be a mediocre team, and that once in a blue moon, you have the kind of team that can sneak up on people and win 9 games or something, you know? So, yeah, no, I don't want to get back to that, to be honest with you. And that's where you're at. It's even worse, actually, because Manny's not a good coach. That's the thing. What is it? 14 penalties, 100 and how many yards was it? 14 penalties, 105 yards. I mean, that doesn't cut the mustard. But hey, man, Manny's got good sources. So if they say they're going to spend, you got to believe his sources, but I still want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see them spend money on a top-notch coaching staff. I'll be really, really excited about that. Big O, what the Dolphins win at least 6 of the last 7, finish 9-8. Do you still get rid of everyone, or you try it again next season and build off good chemistry that they finish with? Omar, first of all, I don't believe they'll finish that well because I don't believe the offense can do that. And if you're going to count on the defense to win every game for you, you're playing with fire. So I don't believe it'll happen. I'm at a point now. What would make you think that Flo can find an offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach? What would make you think that? He hasn't done it for 3 years. And so next year, you're going to bring him back kind of like on a hot seat. How are you going to find those coaches? So I'm kind of at a point now where I've given up on Flo. I got to be honest. He's a defensive coordinator. He's not a head coach. Hope I'm wrong. Let's see. What else do we have? Kane should have hired Cristobal when he left FIU. That was the right guy who would have turned the page of mediocrity. Maybe, maybe not, Mr. Spock, because if he doesn't have the support and they don't spend money, it's still hard to do. Can't do it all by yourself. Oh, I know you're not a fan of any assistant on the staff, but if Flo does stay, what about promoting Fry? Seems like a good choice if we stay with Tua, then go a long way. Well, apparently Fry's the guy that called that play in the end zone for Brissett. What can I tell you? So I don't know. Fry's never run an offense ever in his life. So now you want to put a guy that's never run an NFL offense, never been successful. Not only have you never run an offense in the NFL, you've never been a successful offensive coordinator. You've never been a successful quarterbacks coach. That's not to say that he can't be. He might be one, but you've never done it. And I'm complaining because you don't have an experienced offensive line coach or an offensive coordinator. And you want to go back to, again, more inexperience. And you're asking to hire a guy without a head coach. The head coach has to want that guy. You can't put the cart before the horse, as they say. So no, I would not go in the Charlie Fry direction. I think we're kind of done with those kind of people. Go get experience, man, especially on offense. Get an experienced offensive coordinator, college level or NFL. I don't care. Definitely get me a grizzled offensive line coach that is successful, that knows how to build lines. Pay his ass. Give the man his money. Okay? As they say in Rounders, give the man his money. So go get the best offensive line coach, steal him from somebody else, pay him double. I don't care, but get somebody that can actually teach these guys. Build their confidence back up and get them going. All right. That's been blocked. Ravens release Bell. Did you watch him? I mean, he looked terrible, dude. He looked terrible. James Vivinetti says, not ready to move on from Flo, but he needs to get an offensive guy that can run the offense so he can focus on defense. But he can't, dude. He can't. The GM got him Chan Gailey, and he couldn't even keep Chan Gailey around. Oh, yeah. So that's the issue, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, let me talk about this a second. And I will say this. I have got a pep in my step this week about the Dolphin game that I didn't have last week because Jacoby Brissett. And he inspires nothing. And in that first half, he inspired me to nothing. And the second I saw that Tua was coming in, I felt really good about it. All of a sudden, I kind of I was more excited about the second half of the game because Tua's involved. And knowing yesterday, which, I mean, it wasn't a surprise. It's no big news, whatever. Of course he's going to start this week. I mean, if Flo doesn't start him, then he's taking his hate for Tua to another level, as they say. But honestly, when I look at the game this week, knowing that Tua is starting, and I know it isn't a great offensive line, it isn't a great offensive coordinator, and it doesn't help this quarterback develop, and I understand all of that. That's been the tough one for the kid. But I will say this, the way the defense is playing and having Tua back, it kind of makes it a lot of fun. And I know we're having a terrible year, and I know our Dolphins are, what are they, 3-7 or whatever it is. I get all of that. And it's, we're frustrated with the overall season and all that. But in the moment right now, okay, and I'm going to watch these games no matter what, no matter how bad they are. When they were 1-15, I was watching every game, every minute of it, because I love the Dolphins and I want to see them win all kinds of titles, not one, but all kinds. But I got to admit that this week I feel a lot better about the game, just because I have some hope that maybe now, we're watching what could be. I was thinking he wasn't going to be here at the end of the year and get traded away. I'm thinking more along the lines that I think Tua's going to be here now, and I think the guy they're going to get rid of is actually Flo, because really the real problem in the organization right now is Flo and the coaching staff. So you need to get rid of him, not the players, not the front office. Go get yourself another coaching staff and another head coach, or maybe another head coach, and maybe he wants to keep one or two pieces from this staff if they're any good that he feels he should keep. But I'll tell you this, knowing that he's going to play, that for me has made this week that much more, how can I say it, exciting in a way. Okay. Like, I can't wait to go to Sports Grill. I can't wait to be there at Bird Road with all of you out there. I can't wait to see Tua play. Hopefully he'll be able to, he gets 10 days to rest that finger. Hopefully the finger will feel better. Hopefully we'll see an even better, more comfortable Tua back there. Hopefully the offensive line can do a half decent job and give the man, at least 2.5 seconds to find somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this, that it is, I'm back to like it was week one, looking forward to the games, even though, I don't have the same hopes anymore of playoffs and those kind of things, but I am hopeful that maybe you have a chance at developing the future with Tua, if of course you can keep him healthy, which is the big thing with Tua, obviously. Big O, let me see. Oh, we got rid of those webcam chats. What do we have here? Big O is spot on. Let's bring in an experienced coaching staff in here and get rid of these guys, build around Tua, and forget Watson. Eric says, I don't know about that. I thought letting Chan go was a mistake. Maybe in retrospect, Flo learns from that mistake. Well, he didn't, because he ended up putting together a really crappy offensive coordinator combination. I understand what you're saying, says James Vivinetti. But if he doesn't or can't find a guy to run the offense, then he's going to get fired, period. Yeah, that's why I don't want to wait another year for it. He couldn't do it for 3 years. Why is he going to make it in year 4? And in year 4, he's coming back with more heat on him. You think a good offensive coordinator is going to want to come here with the guy on the hot seat? Probably not. Brissett wouldn't even start in the CFL, says Tony Segalis. I agree with that. Dana says Tua is not going to be here as a starter. No coach is going to come here and feel comfortable with him with their future. That's where I guess we can disagree. If they, you know what, Dana, I will say this. If you don't trust him health-wise, that does make sense. As a player, I disagree with you. As durability, yeah, that's something that you have to question with Tua. That's whether it's right or wrong. That is a legitimate criticism for him. Big O, with all the cap space we have, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and 3 top O linemen, draft running back, and mostly defensive players. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is going to want a lot of money. So the $70 million, you're going to have to give him a lot. You have to give him like 40. It's going to take up a lot, dude. I don't know about that. And you got to pay Gesicki too. So basically you're picking Tua over Flo. I'm with you, Big O. No, I would pick almost anything over Flo at this point in time. Yeah, Flo's pretty much lost me. I did a terrible job of overlooking some of the screw ups while the success was going on in the first and second years. But when you start looking at what happened in those first 2 years, and then you add it with what's gone on this year, there is a track record that I failed to look at, and it's the same thing that happened with Gase. There was a track record there that we failed to look at because 10-6 covered it all up. And then everything else, when it wasn't winning, now you'll see some of the same things, but you'll see it losing, and then you put it together and you figure it out. So sometimes you don't see it right away, you know what I mean? And you make a mistake. And that's what I did. I didn't really look at it the way I should have from the get-go with Flo, and I made the mistake. That's it. We're all not going to be perfect, man. When we get stuff right and we're going to get stuff wrong. Big O, could you please give a short and sweet explanation on why the U do not have and will not have an on-campus stadium? Seriously, EB? It's Coral Gables, dude. Do you have to even ask that? Do you live here, EB? Do you live in South Florida? Answer that question. Because I have a hard time believing anybody in South Florida is asking why the Canes don't have a stadium in Coral Gables. Let me run that by you again. Okay? Anyone that lives in South Florida, because I heard this crap, Danny Cannell. Love Danny Cannell, great dude, but he said the same stupid ass thing about having a on-campus stadium, and I was really disappointed in Danny because he lives here. And anybody that knows, you think you're going to build a 50, 60, 70,000 seat stadium in Coral Gables. In Coral Gables. You think that Coral Gables is going to allow you to build a 50,000 seat stadium. Do you remember what happened with the basketball arena? That they couldn't put seats. They had an extra 2,000 seats, and the city did not allow them to put the seats in because they didn't want the crowd to be that big, and that arena's small. And yet, somehow or another, you think that, one, they're going to purchase the Coral Gable land because they don't have it on their own campus to then build a stadium, and that Coral Gables is going to allow you to run 50,000 people, traffic and all, through their streets. You think they're going to allow you in Coral Gables to play on a Saturday night and you form all hell breaking loose at midnight in Coral Gables where you cannot put your trash can in the wrong place? How any of you even think about an on-campus stadium, you're either high as hell or you don't live here and you don't know anything about Coral Gables, or you just made a really stupid statement, or you asked a stupid question. Not exactly sure which one you fall under, EB, but I would love, I don't see an answer yet. You hesitating there, dog? Seriously. On-campus stadium in Coral effing Gables. Like, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You can't even park a pickup truck in your own driveway there. I love it, Big O. I deserve that. I'm a dreamer, and I live in Coral Gables most. Seriously, EB? Holy shit. You asked that question living in Coral Gables? Did you put your DirecTV satellite in the wrong place? Because they came and fined your ass for that. Did you leave too many leaves on the street there? They'll fine your ass for that. You live in Coral Gables and you ask that question. EB, you're a trip, dude. My man lives in Coral Gables and asked that question. Oh, man. You know, somebody says it and they live in Tampa or they live in Atlanta, or they live in New York or California, and they've never been to the campus, and they don't know the city of Coral Gables. You know what I mean? Like, for those of you that live around the country or around the world, and when we're talking about the University of Miami, if you've never been to Coral Gables is a high-end city, okay? Like, poor people don't live in Coral Gables. Understand that. Like, it's just it's money. There's money in Coral Gables. And the property value in Coral Gables is sick. And the University of Miami is pretty much built up on its own property already as it is. But there is no way that the city of Coral Gables would ever approve a stadium, dude. Ever. Like, it's an uptight city. Like, they require everything to be uniform. You just can't go about doing whatever you want and park your work truck wherever you want. In fact, you probably can't even have a work truck in front of your house in Coral Gables. I'm pretty sure of that. And I don't live in Coral Gables, but I have plenty of friends that live in Coral Gables. And let me tell you something. The rules are effed up. But there is a uniform rules to it, and in a way, when you drive through a Coral Gables neighborhood, you can tell it's completely different than every other neighborhood because it's not dirty. Everything's picked up, everything's organized, everything's beautiful, everything's manicured, because that's the way Coral Gables is going to do it, dude. So you just, Coral Gables, they would never allow you to build a stadium, ever. The only crazy ass idea that could have been possible, but never happened and never will, was the whole, Tropical Park thing. That if UM wanted to build a stadium in Tropical Park, that might have been the place that you could have been able to get away with it. That's it. Great highways in and out. You have access to Tropical Park from Bird Road and Miller. You have the Palmetto right there. You have the Turnpike right up the street. So there were ways to get in and out of it, and you can actually, deal with it. But Coral Gables, no. Coral Gables, there's nothing. You got no shot. In fact, Sean, you know what we should give EB, right? We should give him a BAF alert, because I think EB has earned a BAF alert.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Alert if I've ever seen one, because that is definitely a blind ass fan alert right there. Let's see what else. Big O, I know a city that will allow the University of Miami to build a stadium to facilitate the Canes. The city is dying to get on the map. It's the city of South Miami. South Miami's a bunch of tight asses too, dude. They won't let you build a stadium there either. South Miami is the wannabe Coral Gables. Yeah. No, South Miami and West Miami, they're trying to be Coral Gables. They're not Coral Gables, but they're trying to be Coral Gables. Like those West Miami cops, ooh, doggy. Go ahead and speed by West Miami. They'll have your ass. And by the way, let me straighten out the whole stadium thing. Has nothing to do with it. Okay? The team and the program are terrible because you don't have the right coaches and recruiters to get it done. That's it. That's the only reason why they're terrible. The Hard Rock Stadium is more than fine. In fact, it's beautiful. It's a great stadium. Just like, we used to say this for the Dolphins too. People, the Dolphins don't have a home field advantage anymore. Well, the Dolphins suck. That's why they don't have a home field advantage. But if the Dolphins get back to being really good, that stadium and the way Tom Garfinkel now constructed that stadium with that roof, the sound will get trapped in and it'll be even better. And it could be a great home field advantage. Is it going to be exactly like the Orange Bowl where it trembles when you stomp on the floor? Of course not. It's a whole different ballgame because it's a concrete facility, and I get all of that. But Hard Rock can be a great home field advantage for the Dolphins and for the Canes. But it's up to the Dolphins and the Canes to create the atmosphere that makes the fans rabid. And that's the problem, that the Canes don't make their fans rabid. The Dolphins don't make their fans rabid. But back in the 80s and the 90s, we were rabid about our Canes. Back in the 70s, the 80s, and the very early 90s for the Dolphins, we were rabid about our Dolphins. And that's why you had more of a home field advantage. I understand the Orange Bowl was perfect. It was a pit. It was, echoing all over the place and all that good stuff. I get it, man. I lived there. I was born and raised watching games in the Orange Bowl from both teams. Went to plenty of huge games for both teams in the Orange Bowl, so I know. But don't tell me that Hard Rock Stadium can't be a great home field advantage for the Dolphins. Hard Rock Stadium is not the problem. The problem is the Miami Dolphins and the Canes. They don't do their part. They are no longer great. They're no longer the kind of team that people demand to see, that lines are outside a couple hundred deep to get in, that people are killing themselves to get the season tickets, that people are dying to root for the team and pack bars everywhere because they can't get a ticket to get into the stadium. Those days are done. You've got to bring them back. When you bring them back, nobody will ever talk about a stadium again. The Canes will be fine and the Dolphins will be perfect. But they've got to create the team that creates the buzz that drives the fan to be maniacal. And right now, we just don't have it. And it's not the stadium's fault. It's not the fans' fault. It's the Canes and the Dolphins. They must be blamed. They are the reason why we are no longer rabid about them, and we don't create that kind of atmosphere. They have to do their part. They have failed for decades now combined, okay, to do that, and that's the problem. So really, it's not about the stadium. It's a whole bunch of crap. By the way, Dolphins are favored by 3. Over and unders 45. Dolphins are minus 160 in the money line. The Jets are plus 135 in the money line. Okay? Big O, the best QBs of the last 25 years have been Manning, Brady, and Breeze. These guys were physically limited like Tua, but they were great because of work ethic. Tua can't get lined up scary. Dana, if you're going to come up with like stupid-ass crap to try to make a weak-ass point, not going to help, dude. That was terrible. Big O, what model lawnmower do you use on your goatee? I use a Braun lawnmower. Is that all right with you? Or is Braun not good enough? Big O, can you explain why B-Flow needs to be fired? I already have. Why don't you listen to the first hour of yesterday's show? I thoroughly explained it. Thoroughly. So there you go. We're not like lazy radio on QAM. They'll get the same subject and repeat it over and over and over and over again. We just give you different content and we move on. So that content was talked about yesterday. You can go and listen to it. It's all there for you. So you can watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on iTunes and iHeart or Spotify or Amazon or Stitcher or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us. Okay. Jay Holla Kane says, Big O, I told you big changes were coming to the U. Well, let's see. They only fired an AD. Let me see who they hire as AD. Let me see if the AD has a checkbook, and let's see if they actually do fire Manny Diaz and not keep him around for an extra year. Let's see what happens. Nothing has developed yet, my friends. Okay? Until Jay, until they actually make changes with substance and that they actually can spend money, then I'll tell you changes were made. But if they're just going to get another Blake James and another, Diaz, another Golden, another Shannon, and, so we'll see. Let's wait, right? Let's see if they actually do it. The ultimate question is, who makes the final roster decision on the Dolphins? If Greer, like Omar says, then Greer needs to go because a coach can't win if the GM is signing or cutting players. Yeah, but Omar's wrong there. Okay? Omar's wrong there. That's the bottom line. I love Omar, but he's wrong. Flores is the guy that cuts flowers, not the GM. Okay? Flores is the guy that didn't want the Emmanuel guy, not the GM. You know what I'm saying? The GM brought him Fitzpatrick, but he didn't want him. He ends up parting ways with him, but he goes and gets Brissett, not the GM. It's pretty obvious, dude. Look at what's going on. The problem where Chris Greer made a mistake, here's where I'm telling you, as much as I want to defend the front office, they're not perfect. They gave Flo too much power. It's right in front of you. He controls the 53. He can pick the players, but in the end, the coach says who stays, who goes. So he didn't want Bobby McCain. He didn't want Kyle Van Noy. He didn't want Karras. So he got rid of experience on the team and ended up counting more on young guys because he's the one that's got to coach them. That's not the GM. Trust me, the GM doesn't want to take the Kyle Van Noy cap hit, and he doesn't want to take the Eric Flowers cap hit. No GM wants to do that. That's the head coach forcing the GM to do that. And you weren't better because of it. So if Omar wants to be in denial in that, that's fine. And we'll disagree on it. But I believe he's wrong on that one. Okay? I believe the coach has had a lot of influence on who he keeps and who he lets go on his 53. And you can tell he's had influence on some of the draft picks. And you can also tell that he does not like Tua. I mean, that's as obvious as it gets. I mean, it's the whole Rosen thing all over again. Do you think Tua would excel in the Patriot system? Yeah, I said that yesterday, and I mentioned it today. You take Mac Jones out and you put Tua, and Tua makes all the throws I saw on Sunday with a fractured finger. Okay? With a fractured finger, he makes all the throws I saw that kid make yesterday, on Sunday, I mean. But he doesn't have the line. He doesn't have the OC. He doesn't have the offense. He doesn't have the running game. So he's not going to have that kind of success, unfortunately. Let's see. Big O, you kind of shoved under the rug the native or the naive, you mean, that Ross made the Tua pick and is pursuing Watson hard. This is why Greer and Flo are safe next year. Why the change of heart? Just saying. Change of heart because I've thought of what's gone on in the 3 years now under Flo, and I see that there's a consistency that he can't overcome. And if he can't build a staff, he can't be the head coach. And if he hasn't been able to get it right for 3 years, and in the 4th year coming off a bad year, he's not going to find the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach he needs. So I'm not naive to think that that's all of a sudden he's going to fix something he can't. You know what I mean? So that's why I've had the change of heart with the whole coaching thing. And again, I'm watching also the defensive players in general all develop. They're all starting to get better, except for Iggy because he doesn't play. And then on offense, I'm watching Waddle and Gesicki play well, but it's really all the old line that isn't. And so I don't believe the whole line is terrible. I don't. I believe the coaching is terrible. I believe some of those linemen are good. It's just we'll never find out if we keep these coaches. So yeah. And as for the Watson stuff, we will find out in the offseason what the hell's going on. And I don't even know if, you know what? I don't even think they'll now. I told you they wouldn't resolve it by the beginning of this year, unlike Drew Rosenhaus, who thought so, or at this deadline, unlike Mike Florio thought so. Now I'm starting to think by the time free agency starts, I don't think Watson has his issues resolved either. So you may not even be able to get Watson either again, for those of you that are dying to get rid of Tua and want Watson. Let's see. Big O, don't make sense that B-Flow picks the players. It's the GM. B-Flow is not the GM. You're right. You are right. But B-Flow has had influence in some of these picks. You can tell. And obviously the players that he's cut, you can tell. Okay? That's just, it's pretty obvious. Where I'm telling you where Chris Greer screwed up is he's given Flo too much power. And he has to take away that power. That's why I'm telling you, you get rid of Flo and the staff, you bring in a new coach and a new staff, and you make sure that new coach is not a meddler. He coaches the players you give him, and you move on. Can he have a suggestion every once in a while? Yes. Can he have any power and say so? No. No more. They screwed up with Gase. They gave him too much power. They screwed up with Flo. They gave him too much power. Time to correct that issue. Okay? I'm not defending Greer in a sense where he's perfect. I know he's not. Guess what? I don't expect anybody to be perfect. I expect them to make some mistakes. And that was one that he made. He needs to correct that. All right, we are done. Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, always getting it done. Remember, Thursday, we are at Hialeah Park. We'll be in the second floor poker room. So come on by and join us, 10 to 1. Come on by, say hi, make a couple bets, maybe play a little poker, say hi to us. We love you out there, so come on out. Friday, we'll be at Caneswear in Davie. You can see all the Caneswear stuff there. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. And then on Sunday, we're going to be at Sports Grill on Bird Road and 114th. And my boy that lives in the Gables, where is he? What is he? EB. We're close by, bro. We're on Bird and 114th. Get your ass out of the Gables and come on down and watch the Dolphins with us. And since you live in Coral Gables, bring me the rules for living in Coral Gables. Because it's probably like 800 rules that you got to live by in Coral Gables. I love you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for sharing. Remember to smash the hell out of the like button. It is very important that you smash that like button every single day. That gets the algorithms going and it gets more people hooked onto our show and watching the show and subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're live. It's a beautiful thing. Sean Stanley, excellent work by you, sir. Thank you. We thank, of course, Manny Navarro and Ira Winderman. All of it will be podcasted. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Well, actually, a different time. We'll be on tomorrow around 8:40, leading up to the 9 o'clock Pallet Rock City Inside the Paint show. 1 hour of Miami Heat and NBA talk. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. I love you all.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show.